We're bringing back this oldie but goodie. I love this background. This background slaps. So, what's up? How's it going? Rachel, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. But hey, what's up? How's it going, Michaela? How's it going? How's it going? What's up, Zed? What's up, Crollo? You're not second. Hey, Olivia. How's it going? Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, everyone. What's up, Molly? Spamming liked. Yeah. Make sure that we're all spamming likes. Let's do it. Let's get it. Special invite just for you. Yes, indeed, Ethine. I always love pronouncing your name differently. Princess Leia, thank you so much for the heart me. I appreciate that. Very kind. Yeah. Bringing back this background. I don't know what kind of mic I use. I use like the HyperX, like Quadcast, I think it's called. It's pretty good. I like it. Petus, thank you so much. Appreciate that. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. Let's get this in front of as many people as we humanly could, as we possibly can. Just tap on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 5K. Jeff, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Very kind of you. But yeah. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and that you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. Yeah, this is an old background for those who don't know, but I'm just bringing it back because it's a banger. It's really good. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm in my 30s.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
Which ones did you mention?
You don't. You should just know what your religion is. Do you not know what your own religion
you
is?
said something about the Torah? Yeah, Torah.
So you're Jewish?
I believe in the Torah.
So you're Jewish?
I'm not Jewish, like genetically, no.
But are you like religiously Jewish?
I believe in the God of the Torah.
Okay. All right.
Hey, but
So
I missed it right when you were saying don't use this argument. It was cutting off. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Just so what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Oh, strongest argument. Oh, so you said don't come on if all you have is personal experience?
Yeah. I don't want testimony or like anecdotes.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I don't know. Why not? Why don't you want that?
Because there's anecdotes and testimony from literally every religion, because there's natural explanations for all of it, because it's all like super boring, because there's like atheistic personal experiences as well. Because I just think that like I've heard all of it and none of it is compelling and it's just super boring, and it's like a conversation killer. So I just say no personal experience.
Yeah, but here's what I want to say about that. It's like
Thanks, Steph.
when you say it all can be explained through natural ways. Like for example, I know what the arguments I kind of have an idea what the arguments are. It's like they'll say like, oh, well, your human ape mind wants to find meaning in this thing. That's
Well, wait,
not
you
really
just want to hear the arguments, or like for any personal experience, like if you have the feeling of a presence, then that's associated with stimulation of the right temporal lobe. If you see demons at night, then that seems like a symptom of sleep paralysis. If you see some like crazy shit, like then at like worst case scenario, I just say like you were hallucinating.
Yeah, I mean, you're just throwing like it kind of like excuses out there. But there's like, for example, if you were to say, well, your right temporal lobe,
Thank you, appreciate it.
right? If you were to talk about the right temporal lobe,
Lee, thank you so much for the 4-month subscription. Lena, appreciate
no
it.
evidence. You personally will have no evidence that the right temporal lobe does whatever you're claiming it does.
Wait, do you want the studies? Do you want the studies on the matter?
Exactly. What you may have is some study that
Studies
you
are
read.
evidence, big dog.
No, but you have none. You personally have.
Oh, I do have studies. I absolutely do. I didn't build my car, but yet I'm pretty sure that if I drive it, it's going to drive.
No.
So we rely on other people to do things all the time.
You personally have zero, none.
Yeah, I could set you a study right now. It's like pretty easy to find.
You wrote one?
Well, yeah, I could send you one.
No, you wrote a
I
study.
don't. Did you build your car?
No, I didn't build my car.
Yeah, but yet you rely on it anyway.
Well, it works. It turns on. But
Yeah, and these studies work. Science
no,
works.
it doesn't.
It leads
You
to
have
good
no.
science.
You
Doesn't
have
if
no
science
clue.
doesn't work,
All
then
you
how
have
does your
is
phone work?
all you have. So okay, so let me ask you this: in my dream, who built the car? Who
I'm
built the
not really
car? It
sure.
worked, right?
The car doesn't exist. It's not real.
Oh, well, I was driving it. It felt real. It was
Okay, wait.
zooming
So, and
around.
also the study, if you're
Well, who built the
interested,
car?
the study is the induction of religious
Who built the
experiences
car,
and
buddy?
temporal lobe activation,
No,
neuronal
no.
source localization using EEG inverse solutions by
You're reading
Yoshija
something and
Walter
it
and
sounds
Thomas
good to you,
Cohen.
but it doesn't make it true just because a scientist says it.
Oh no, but it's a peer-reviewed study, so I'm just gonna trust the scientists and trust
Okay,
the
so
peer-reviewed
say that.
studies.
Say that you the same way a person has faith in the pastor, you have faith in the scientist. You're
No, I don't
having
have
faith.
faith. I have evidence.
No, you
Science works.
don't.
That's why we have
No, you
modern medicine.
don't. You
That's why we
literally
have the
just have
phones that we're
faith.
currently talking
You're
through.
taking
Right
their
this very
word for
second,
it. You're
science is
taking their word
reliable. It
for
leads
it,
to good
please.
conclusions, whereas your
You're
religion
taking
has
their
led to
word
nothing but
for it.
bad conclusions.
You're taking their word for it, especially when it comes to like mind stuff. You're definitely taking their word for it. You're
For
definitely taking their
mind
word for it.
stuff, that's more of a philosophy field.
Yeah, well, when you make a claim like, oh, well, you found meaning in this personal experience, and that's because over evolution, the human mind tries to find patterns and wants to find deeper meaning. That's all fucking just your opinion, bro. It doesn't make it
I don't think
fact.
I've made that argument a single time.
Oh, with the right temporal love stuff you did.
No,
That
but
to
that's
me
just a
is an
neurological
opinion
fact.
argument.
Yeehaw! Thank you so much, Lena. Appreciate it.
But
That's just a
anyways, you're
scientific
still
fact. Wait,
faith-based.
do you have a critique of the scientific study, or do you have a study of your own that you'd like to provide?
I would say this. All I have is my personal experience.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about your
Well,
personal
yeah, I'm not asking you to give a
experience.
fuck. That's why I don't give a fuck about
Yeah, wait. So do you have an
your
argument, or do I need to move on to a guest who
your
does?
papers. I don't give a fuck about the papers
Yeah,
that
I
you
know you
have
don't care about
that somebody
science,
else
the
wrote
thing that has
and that you
led
put
you to
faith
this
in.
technology that you're currently talking through. So do you have an argument, or do I need to move on to someone who does?
First of all, you don't even know if any of this is real. You have
Yes, I
no
do.
proof. You have proof that the material realm is real.
Yeah, I have
How do you know
strong
you're not plugged
justification.
into a
Yeah,
machine right now?
absolutely.
How do you know you're not plugged into
Absolutely.
a machine?
Yeah. So I can the way I can prove this is just with a principle called phenomenal conservatism, which states essentially that you can shift the burden of proof back onto the skeptic if you have a strong reason that something
Prove that you're not hooked
seems
up to
real,
a dream
insofar
machine
as
right now.
reality seems real, and I have nothing that
Prove
would
that you're not
contradict
hooked
the
up to a
fact that
dream machine.
reality is real, or at least it seems real. I have no
You
reason why
can't
it wouldn't
prove
be
that you're not
real.
hooked up
Then
to a
that
dream
means that
machine.
I have strong prima facie on face justification for believing that reality is real.
You have no proof that you're not hooked up to a machine right now in the
Yeah,
dream
well, yes, I
machine.
do, because all of my
No,
beliefs
you
work
don't.
together. When I
No, you
see
don't.
the object in front of me, I can reach out and touch it, and every single time I do, it's going to be there because reality
That
is
doesn't
real.
prove that you're not hooked up to a dream machine, buddy.
Yeah,
In
but
the
I just have no
dream,
reason to think that I would be. Why would that be the case? I
well,
have strong
there
reason
is.
to
Well,
think that
that
I'm not hooked up to a dream machine, and I have no reason to think that I am. So I'm just going to assume that I'm not.
well, that's okay. So when people say that they experience things that are like coincidences or supernatural, the dream machine is the best explanation for that. In a dream,
Supernatural things don't exist.
well, that's just you saying that.
Well,
That
yeah,
doesn't make
but
it true.
there's no evidence at all that supernatural things
No,
exist.
your evidence, you're only gonna take evidence if some scientist says it. I get it. They're your pastors. That's where you put your faith in.
Yeah,
I
you
get that.
can say that you
Put
can
faith
like
in
say that these
yourself,
things are
man.
equivalent. But if you hate science so much, then you should probably turn your phone off.
What is that? What does a phone have to do with
What does the
with
phone have to
science?
do with
It has to do with
science? What do you
engineering.
think your phone runs on? Who do you think figured out the key workings of your phone? Do you think it was God? Do you think it was the
You
priests?
actually, well, here's the thing: if it's a simulation, you have no proof
Wait,
that
so
anybody
you don't
built
actually believe in
anything.
God? You believe in a simulation?
Yeah, it is a simulation. It is.
Gotcha. Wait, and where in the Torah is this, or did you just like waste a bunch of
No,
time?
there is no.
Because
There,
I'm not really interested
not in
in
Torah, but
arguing. I'm not really interested in arguing about simulation theory. But if you wanted to argue about God, then I'd love to talk to you about it. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 20K likes. If you want to support the stream, Venmo's allegedly -Ian. Cash App is just allegedly Ian. If all of you left 20 likes right now, we'd already be there. We got this. What's up? How's it going? Yeah. Also, make sure you're sharing it with your friends. Drop in a comment as well. Leslie, are you there? Okay. Well, it seems like we're having some connectivity issues. But yeah, let's see if this guest joins. What's up? How's it going?
I thought there were like 10 people in front of me.
I have no idea. I don't know. I just pick the person who comes to the top. How old are you?
Doing well, thank you. Is this only a debate format, or it's just kind of questions? Okay.
It's a debate.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll pass then. I want to understand your grounds for morality. Not that there can't be a grounds for morality other than, but I'd be interested to know where you find a basis for morality.
I think that there's like strong, me personally, in my like personal life, I just say that like morality is subjective, that that seems to be what the words are talking about, that when we say words like good or bad, that just seems to be saying that this thing is like morally intuitive or like morally unintuitive. And there's no real way to like bridge the gap. If one person finds something intuitive and one person finds something unintuitive. So I just think that it's going to be like a necessarily like subjective term because of just the way it's used, basically.
Do you think that will work? That can work out functionally in a functioning society, though, to have that subjective view of morality? Like, wouldn't each society have to deem a certain type of morality correct?
Well, so you're just saying that it would be really cool if objective morality was real. And I agree, it would be really cool if objective morality was real. But I'm not making a claim about like normativity. I'm making like a descriptive claim about morality. The establishing whether morality is subjective or not subjective is going to be true irregardless of our preferences for how we wish it were.
I don't think it's cool. It's not that I think it's cool for there to be an objective morality. I don't understand a world outside of there being objective morality. Like, for example, I don't understand it not being objectively true that it's wrong to murder or to unalive a child, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what morality could possibly suggest that is okay.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that these like statements aren't universal. That when you say that it's wrong to unalive a child, all you're actually saying is that you think it's wrong to unalive a child. And I agree. I also think it's wrong to unalive a child. But that's just what the semantics maps onto. It's not talking about like some objective property of things. It's just talking about like the way we feel about something.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying those things are only thought-based. So really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like if someone were to do that, it would only matter in terms of the way you think about it. It wouldn't matter in terms of objective reality. You're just saying that objective reality is subjective to the person.
No.
I could think. So why couldn't I think of it differently than you?
Well, yeah, that's just not what I'm saying. Like, if you wanted to make claims that it's like objectively harmful, you can make the claim that it is like objectively harmful, that it objectively causes suffering, and then it's going to be intuitive to most people because when we
Can I stop you there?
Like the brain parts of our like the neural pathways associated with moral intuition rely heavily on empathy, and not liking suffering is a pretty universal experience, which means that, like, luckily these scenarios probably aren't going to come up very much because most people are going to find it pretty morally intuitive that causing like gratuitous suffering is wrong.
But you're still making an epistemic claim. You're still saying that suffering is wrong, right?
No, most people are going to think that it is subjectively to them. Most people will think so.
But a majority consensus on something is not evidence of something being true or false.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that these statements are true or false. I think that all these statements mean when you say this thing is wrong, this thing is not wrong, all you're saying is I think this thing is wrong, I think this thing is not wrong.
Right.
That's true because
I understand that's your position.
That's the case. So all of these statements are true. It's just that there's no like higher order like property that's being appealed to.
But I think that the problem is it's like that you have to ground those claims somewhere. So for you to say, well, there's nothing outside of that, well, then the logical conclusion to that would be I can say there's nothing wrong with slavery, and you can say, yes, there is, and there's no standard by which we can both appeal to determine if that is objectively true or false.
Well, yes, there is. Yeah, we can.
Let me just.
Can.
I don't think so, because when the thing that you jumped to was suffering, and you said, well, most people don't want suffering, but I could just as well say, well, in my view, suffering is correct, right? And now you could appeal to majority consensus on something, but that is not, you already admitted that that's not the basis.
Yeah, but what happens if God subjectively decides that suffering is good?
What? Say that again?
What happens if God subjectively decides that suffering is good?
What if God subjectively decides that suffering is good? Well, I would imagine if there's a God and God is omniscient, all-knowing, and sovereign, that we would not have any choice in the matter.
Yeah, but what if God? Oh, gotcha. So then your morality is also subjective.
I honestly don't follow you at all. I'm trying to follow what you mean.
Yeah, because your morality is based on a subject, God.
I'm starting from the place. I'm starting from the place of the world that we see, the evidence of morality that we see, and saying I haven't gone to God yet. You're going to God. That's why I began and said,
yeah, but in your worldview, morality is also subjective.
I don't see how that's the case.
Because it's based on a subject. Wait, so would it be objective morality? Let's say I have like a friend whose name is Luke, and like Luke says, like here are the good things to do and here are the bad things to do, and I just follow whatever Luke says. Would that be an objective morality?
If you follow whatever Luke says?
Yeah, my friend Luke, not the Luke of the Bible.
Right. That would be subjective, right?
Because, because why?
Well, because it's just a random list given by a person. It doesn't have it.
And your morality is just a random list given by God.
Well, see, I'm starting from a different place. I mean, you're going to God. I haven't mentioned that.
Well,
right?
Yeah, but you're Christian, so I'm just saying, like, this is like, it's like saying, I'm not gonna follow this belief because all the people who believe this have eyeballs, and I'm like,
I get what you're saying.
Like all the people who follow your belief also have eyeballs. Like this is true of your belief system as well.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm starting from the point of, like you would scientifically, right, where you see evidence and you try to figure out, you're trying to figure out, why are these things happening? Why is reality so, right? That's the starting point. I'm not starting from a list or a set of rules or anything like that. I'm saying kind of almost like in a C.S. Lewis way. All right, every day we see people make moral claims, right? We see people say, hey, that's not fair. That's not fair. Hey, don't do this. You should do this, right? No matter what we think about subjective morality, the truth is we all make moral claims every day. And in order to make those moral claims, there has to be a standard outside of us to appeal to in order for us to. Well, then how would we work out how those things are true or false?
In the same way we work out, like when somebody says, like, blue is the best color, how do we work out if that's true or false?
Well, because that's a subjective claim. You'd have to I mean, that to me
exactly precisely.
No, I disagree with that. That's a
Why is
preference,
that different?
because that's a preference.
Yeah, and I'm saying that morality is a preference.
No, it's not. You wouldn't say, that's what I'm saying. In reality, you would not work things out that way. If I said my preference is to unalive this person, you wouldn't say, well, that's just your preference.
That is a preference. It's just a really bad one. It's a really weird one.
Yeah, but then again,
like you can prefer things that I find to be like really abhorrent.
Hold on. But okay, right there, you said that's a bad one.
Yeah,
right?
that I think that's a bad thing.
You said bad. You said the word bad. Okay.
Yep.
Now that is you're making a moral claim right there.
Yes.
Now,
yes,
by what
to me, it's
what
bad.
is your you said to you, the
Yes.
subjective. That's subjective to you.
Yeah, all morality is subjective. Yes, correct.
Okay,
that
but
is just true of the way the words are used. That
then
if
you
you do a
can't
semantic
say,
analysis,
then
you
you
see that
can't
all the
say,
words mean when somebody says this thing is bad is I think this thing is bad. That's
then
just
you
neurologically true. That's just a scientific fact, quite frankly.
okay, then you can't say that what you believe is necessarily in reality any better than what I think.
Well, it's just
If you
subjective, right?
right, so
That
that is
luckily all of society agrees that like X, Y, or Z thing is bad. So we
when
don't need
some
to worry about the
societies,
cases when like what if society thought that like graping children is good?
well,
It's
societies
a good
have
thing we
thought
don't
that.
live in those societies. I know they did, but it's a good thing we
Yeah,
don't live in them because I think those things are
yeah,
bad.
yeah, but you have no basis on which to condemn those societies except for your own subjective personal morality.
Well, yeah,
You,
exactly. And why is that not a
yeah,
strong
and
enough basis?
because plenty of people in the same society as you might disagree with you,
No, but I
right?
can appeal
There,
to shared principles. Like I could appeal to, for
you
example,
might be able
the
to appeal
golden
to the share.
rule, for example, or for empathy, which is a thing that's present in the brains of every single human. Empathy, and say, wow, well, you know, if somebody was doing that to you, you probably wouldn't like it very much. And then from
Yeah,
that,
but
I can
somebody,
convince them that perhaps slavery is bad, actually.
yeah, but in according to a person who thinks slavery is good, the person being enslaved is not even it does not hold the same value as they
Yeah,
do,
so
and
that's not
that
a
is their
moral
subject.
difference. That's not a moral difference. That's an ontological difference. Grimlock, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. W Grimlock, W six
Of
six
course,
six,
it's a
W Satan, hail Satan.
of
It's a
course it's a
difference of
moral difference.
ontology, not a difference of
No,
morality.
no, of course it's a difference of
Do you wait,
morality
wait, wait? Do
because
you know what ontology is, or are you just disagreeing with something that you don't even know?
just no, I don't know the definition of
Yeah, so
ontology.
ontology just means being. That in a
Oh,
scenario when
that's
someone
right. I
says that
remember. Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah,
slavery is fine because they're not people, that's a
it's
difference
an
of who you
ontological
consider to
claim.
be people. It's not a difference of like whether or not you think people deserve to be treated this way.
Well, certainly, it's still a moral claim if you claim that it's okay to treat one group of people a certain way and another group of people in a completely different way.
Well,
Of
no,
course,
no,
that's
because
a
you said that you reject that they're people. That the person who owns slaves would say that they're not people,
no. I didn't.
which
No,
is like
you just
also
said that.
talking about
You
slavery
just
as a
said that.
Christian is like deeply ironic.
No, you
Because
just
I mean,
said
if you
that.
want to
I
talk
said
about
value.
like objective morality, then why did God command slavery in Leviticus? Because
Yeah,
that
the
seems pretty
slit.
subjective. Or did he? Was there a change of mind at some
Well,
point?
we could go there, but I feel like you're trying to take it somewhere else because you're trying to avoid
What
what
do you
you're
mean?
trying
Wait,
to.
it's a debate about God. I'm just bringing it to God.
Yeah, no, you're trying to take it
You just
away
have
from.
no ground to stand on to say like, well, what if somebody thought slavery was okay? Because your God literally thinks slavery is
Well,
okay.
I want to understand before. I want to understand how you make any kind of how can you insist, for example, that a civilization should not have slavery if your morality is subject to you alone,
Well,
right?
it sounds like you just don't. So I think you're missing the critique that you don't really have any grounds to stand on in this case, insofar as your God, insofar as like if you're following your Bible correctly, if you think morality is objective, then you actually think that slavery is fine.
Well, I don't think that you. First of all, I don't think that you can understand the Bible outside of the tradition the Bible comes through an Orthodox tradition. I don't think that you have any grounds to even understand it. But
Well, wait.
that's
So
I.
then, just like explain
So I
Leviticus
wouldn't.
25:44 through 46, where God says that slavery is fine.
I don't know. I don't think that you should have.
You wait. So
I don't think.
you're running from the question. Just answer it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Wait.
Not
Stop
at all.
running. Let's not be
I
a
want.
running
I'm
Randy.
not.
Let's just answer the
Well,
question.
that's what you're doing by
I'm
trying to
not
go
doing
to the
that at all.
Bible. Yes, you are.
I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of you bringing up slavery.
No, you see, that's what you did.
Insofar as slavery is literally a thing that you must think is good if you think morality is objective and God is
So
always
why
right.
is it? So why is it bad?
Well, to me, it's just going to be bad because of the gratuitous amounts of suffering that it causes.
Why is suffering bad?
Well, because I think it is. Because I experience it as bad, and because
Well,
I apply
I
this
don't think it
empathetically to
is.
other people.
Well, I don't think it's wrong.
Then you're a sick fuck. Like I don't
But
debate
why?
people
But
about
why?
whether or not slavery is good. If you think slavery is good, then you're a sick fuck, and you should be
Then what?
cast out from
But sick.
society.
But you're using sick. Sick would mean bad, right?
Well, it's just like
So
disgusting, like
I can.
revolting. Like you as a
Okay.
person would be revolting if you think slavery is okay.
Well, if I said the same thing about you, and I said, well, you, which I don't believe, by the way, I don't. You're not revolting to me in the least. But if I said the same thing about you, again, neither one of us would have any standard by which to measure that statement as true or false. It's all subjective. What I'm trying to illustrate is no matter what I'm trying. I
your
just want to.
critique. Yes, wait. So if your
I'm trying to
critique of
illustrate.
subjective morality, do you think saying subjective morality is subjective as a critique of subjective morality? Really?
All I'm trying to say
Wait,
is
yes or no?
I don't
Can I get a
think
yes or no? Wait. I just want to know. I want to clarify. Do you think that saying that subjective morality is subjective is a critique of subjective morality? Do you think that that's a critique?
No, I think a critique of subjective morality is that it doesn't hold up in everyday reality with people. Like it doesn't work
No, it
itself
actually
out.
maps directly onto our moral discourse. That's not the case. Grimlock, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. W Grimlock, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate it.
So are you? What is the thing with Satan? Are you like? Do you believe that there is a? Is that a? You just said there's nothing superficial, right? So
Nothing
is Satan?
supernatural.
Or that's right, nothing supernatural. So you just champion Satan because it's fun, or it's fun to poke
Basically.
it. Is that
Grimlock,
the idea?
thank you so much for the $6.66 on
So
Cash
you're
App
taking
for
a religious
playing the
concept.
victim.
You're
W
taking a
Grimlock,
religious concept.
W666, W Satan, hail Satan. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Let's get a big W Grimlock in the comment section.
I don't understand the Satan thing.
Yeah, it's
I'm just trying to understand. It's
like
just fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But so that's all I'm trying to understand. When I came on here, I asked you, I said, hey, is this can I just ask questions? Because that's really all I'm trying to understand is where, let's say I'm not Christian. I mean, you assume I'm Christian because, of course, you saw the cross in my
Yeah,
image.
and you also said that the Bible needs to be understood through the Orthodox tradition. Yeah.
After you said that, that's right. I said that after you said that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and so I'd like to know. Let's say Christianity aside.
Nicole, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Venmo for Hail Supernatural Satan. W Nicole, W666, W Supernatural Satan, Hail Supernatural Satan. I appreciate that, Nicole.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm just trying to understand where can you find any. So if it's subjective, I just don't think that we can find any ground to stand on. There's no way to organize a society that way. You have to appeal to something outside yourself, or it's just majority consensus, which you already said was not grounds for morality. You already said that majority consensus.
There's going to be like things that are intuitive to everybody just based on like the fact that we all evolved together to have these like pretty similar moral intuitions and like shared experiences. Like what happens? So even if morality is objective, like what happens if all the society just disagrees on it? What then?
So I respect what you're saying there. I understand what you mean completely when you just said that. But then my mind goes to, okay, there are things that we should all agree on, and yet look at something like the Holocaust, look at something like Gaza, right? Those things. So those obviously we should agree that all of that stuff is hideous and wrong, and yet it still happens. Mm-hmm. So how can, and I'm asking this not in a spirit of trying to one up you, or I really am not. I'm trying to understand it. If you could show me a way that this makes sense, then I would be very interested. But I have not, in reality, I have not seen that work itself out. It just doesn't seem feasible.
Well, there's literally no trade-off though, right? Because in your worldview, TR, thank you so much for the 10-cent subscriptions. Huge WTR, and welcome to the community, anyone who got one. In your worldview, even if morality is objective because like God says so or whatever, it's still you're gonna run into the problem of like, well, what happens if nobody agrees on it despite it being objective, and then society collapses anyway. Luckily for us, evolution has given us like pretty similar moral intuitions in certain regards, just that we have a sense of empathy and that we think suffering is bad. Many differences in morality are just differences in the way we like classify a certain thing. For example, abortion is probably just a difference in whether we classify the fetus as like a person or not a person. So it just comes down to like these differences of like categorization, but you're going to run into all the same problems in objective morality as well.
But like if somebody stole from you tomorrow, somebody robbed your house, you would feel violated justifiably. And you would be like, that son of a bitch,
Mm-hmm,
and you would get mad and you would curse that person and that kind of thing. But in your view, if it is just subjective, what grounds would you it would just be your own grounds, but there would be no grounds to actually say that person should be prosecuted other than if that happens to be the law of the land in your area, right? So it's not objective. You're just saying it's not objectively true. You're saying that's subject. Your basic claim is that there is no objective morality. Am I right?
That's not going to be the case though, because insofar as we have like shared goals of if me and the rest of society shares the goals of saying like this shouldn't happen again, because if I got robbed, I would think this shouldn't happen again. Now, I can create a normative claim about what should happen to prevent this from happening again. I can say this person ought be rehabilitated because we have data on rehabilitation, and all of this data on rehabilitation seems to indicate that this is going to prevent people from stealing more in the future. So insofar as we have shared goals in society about like the types of behaviors we typically like and dislike, which are largely given to us via evolution, then we're going to be perfectly capable of just expressing these things and being well received.
So if we were taken over by another country that had a completely different view of some of the fundamental things, like, for example, if it wanted the women's to be covered, you know, in a like a woman couldn't show her face, and we made the claim, no, a person should have the right to show their face, right? And you're just saying, well, it's up to the collective. It's up to the collective. Well, what if the collective says the woman should keep her face?
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Well,
no.
I'm trying to understand it. I'm not saying that
this is equally true in like an objective moral world where, like, let's say there's a society who just doesn't have the objective morality, like they just don't follow objective morality at all, and then they come in and then they like do all these same things. Then what?
Well, it's to me, it would still point to the fact that there would have to be an objective morality.
No, but like what happened? Because you're saying that there's like pragmatic issues with subjective morality. All of these are also true of objective morality.
I would agree.
If your scenario is just like, well, you know, it's just going to be like a majority rules, so you can't really do anything if they take over your country. Well, I mean, if they take over your country, even if morality is objective, you also can't do anything.
No, I'm not saying you can't do anything. I'm saying you can't justify an objection.
Yes,
right?
I can. Absolutely, I can.
By your own cultural and subjective standards.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so this is, again, your critique is just subjective morality is subjective. That's not a reductio. Well, I can rally all of my friends who feel the exact same way as I do, and then we can just go out and do that.
Yeah, but you saying it's not a reductio, I'm saying it kind of has to be, because you insist on certain moral standards every day of your life, and if those moral standards are violated, you'll be offended and you'll want justice. Right, and if you're saying that they only, and if you're saying that those only come from your subjective morality and the collective you live in, then when those things are violated and changed, you have no justifiable grounds to stand on to demand a change or demand those things be handled in any kind of way.
Well, wait, absolutely I do. In the same way that I have grounds to try to get like a blue backpack because I like the color blue, I have grounds to change society around my morality. It doesn't matter if it's subjective. You can still take actions based on it.
Yeah, I don't get that, because that, I mean,
so that's like, do you ever like go out of your way to get things that are the color that you like?
Yeah, those are preferences. Those are preferences, and
exactly.
we all understand that preferences are different than certain moral standards.
Do we understand this? Because I'm telling you, I've told you multiple times, and I think you're just confused. But
no, I don't think so.
All morality is, well,
I understand where you're coming from.
I completely. So what's the difference?
No, I understand your argument. It's just it doesn't in my lived experience, it doesn't work itself out in reality, and that's where
going to be true of objective morality as well.
No, I understand. I understand that there's
not a single scenario that you could give me that isn't also true of objective morality.
No, I understand that claim. I understand what you're saying there. That's not missing me, but I'm saying that the fact that happens doesn't change the fact that there has to be an objective standard by which to measure them. Why does there have to
be an objective standard?
Because otherwise you couldn't open your mouth. You couldn't claim such things. You couldn't make such claims.
Can I make the claim that blue is the best color?
That's a preference.
Yeah, as is morality.
That's a preference that has no.
But it's subjective as is morality.
Yeah, but it's not good. That's not going to harm a person, or it's not going to. It's not on the level of unaliving and the things that we were discussing.
Yeah, and why is harm bad?
Exactly, that was the question I asked you.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, but I'm just trying to get you. This is going to be true of your moral system as well. That if somebody just rejects that harm is bad, it doesn't matter if morality is objective or not. That you're still going to have the exact same outcomes.
Well, I believe that there are certain things that we do see across not just collective society, but across the whole world. Like nowhere is it, for example, honorable to be a coward in battle, right? Nowhere is it honorable to except for very fringe societies, to harm a child, right? And these are kind of things that universally as humans, would you agree that we all
Incredible. My exact argument, and phenomenal. Yeah.
No,
That is bar for bar exactly what I said like 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
No, but you were talking more of your immediate collective society, and I was saying
No, I'm
your
talking about
society is
all of
different.
society. I'm talking about evolution. Do you think our society came from evolution, or do you think the entire human species came from evolution?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
You
there's.
have
I
no
don't think.
idea. You have no
Well,
idea if it's just our society or every
I don't
society.
think
You don't know.
you
You're not
can't
sure.
you can't prove evolution by the
Sure, you
scientific
can. Yeah.
method. No, you
Yeah, you
can't.
can. You absolutely
No,
can.
you have
Yeah.
to be able to.
So
No,
yeah,
there's no way to do that.
because our second chromosome is a fusion between the 2A and 2B chromosome present in all the other great apes.
So do you
that's
believe
proof
the
that we
only
have a
way
common
that?
ancestor with them. Additionally, you can literally just put a bunch of bacteria into like a petri dish and then put antibiotics in and watch them like evolve. So
Why can't
evolution
you?
is just
Why
a
can't you
proven
create
thing.
life? Why can't
Well,
you create
that's not
life?
what evolution is.
Well, can you
Evolution is
create
just like the
life?
creation of genetic diversity.
Why can't you create life though?
Well, I mean, science just hasn't gotten there yet. That doesn't mean it's
Oh,
not
so
going to happen.
it will get there.
Yeah, I think so. I would assume so. Yeah.
How do you think it might, with your understanding now, how do you think it might do that?
Yeah, because it's making progress every single year. So we already know the process by which abiogenesis works. There's just like a couple of cracks to like fill out. That we have like the big three pieces like completely figured out.
Oh, so you think so what do you think would need to happen in your view to create life? How would you go about doing it if you were to test it? What would you do?
Well, we need to find like the connectors, the exact connectors between each of these steps. That's what I'm saying. So at first we knew nothing, and then we learned something. We learned stuff, and we have connectors between. There's like a central step which is called like segregation from the outside environment, and we know the connectors between like self-replication and segregation, and we also know the connectors between like metabolism and segregation. But we're trying to get all three of them together. That's what we're still trying to figure out. But just because we haven't figured it out doesn't mean we're never going to. By that logic, you'd be in ancient Greece saying, well, the lightning bolts are from Zeus and the fucking waves are from Poseidon, and the sun rises because of Apollo.
I got you.
Do you have anything else, or should I move on to the next guest?
No, feel free. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation as well. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. If you are in that guest request box, make sure you're 18 or older. Make sure you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. If you don't do that, probably not going to talk to you. Make sure you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly -Ian, and the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Let's get all the way up to 50K likes. You can do that. Let's get everyone to leave. Everyone left 20 likes right now. Excuse me, we'd already be there. What's up? How's it going, Mr. Flat Earth? Mr. Flat Earth, are you there? Do we got intro music? What's going on? Okay, that's fine. Hey, if you want to join the community, if you're 18 or older, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. It's discord.gg/allegedlyian. It's a great little place, and we talk about politics, religion, and philosophy. Next Saturday and every following Saturday, hopefully, we'll do a little reading group of a philosophy paper. I'm thinking about having everybody read. There's like this great paper by Graham Oppie about free will and the problem of evil.
Hello there.
What's up? How's it going, Sarah? How old are you?
Hi, I am 19 years old.
Yeah, and do you think God is real?
I do.
And
I
what
do.
religion? What religion are you?
I'm Southern Baptist.
Gotcha. So, what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
So this is a little bit of a personal experience.
I don't want it then.
I had this vision, and God
I said I don't want it.
filled my soul
I don't
with
want
His
it.
radiance.
I don't want it. Let's respect each other's boundaries, all right?
All right, you have an amazing day.
All right. Thanks for coming
Also,
out. Okay. Yeah, no means no for real.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? How's it going? How old are you?
I'm 16.
You gotta be 18 or older to request to join,
Fuck you, nigga,
sorry.
God is real.
Okay, that's nice. Damn, my shit's broken. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Frosty? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Are you, what year were you born? Yeehaw, thank you so much, 90
I was
Kid.
born in 2005.
Come on. That could be true. That just doesn't seem true. What's up?
Yo, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 18.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
I'm Christian.
Gotcha. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
I think complexity is the strongest argument. I mean, we've never seen complexity arise, naturally, and I think, we see complexity arise through, intelligent design and minds every day, and there's no examples of it, otherwise.
Can you give me a definition of complexity?
Let's systems with order.
Systems
So
with
like your
order.
phone, for example, is a system.
Systems with order. And why do these not? Because so we know mathematically that these things actually do arise on their own. In like a field called like chaos theory, that it can have like a chaotic orbit and then go to like a stationary point.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to say
theory,
that like order is like, well, no, it's like a mathematical theory. So it's just like an overarching set of equations. It's not a theory. It's like just mathematically true. It's not a theory in the sense that you're using it.
Well, what does the theory prove? It proves that we see things arise naturally?
It just maps onto like reality. Basically, it demonstrates that there's many situations where something can be in like a very chaotic state of affairs and then go to like a more orderly one. For example, if we had like a whirlpool that was like swirling around and like going down like a drain, then it could go from this like chaotic like whirlpool and then it could just like settle out as like still water.
Yeah. So where's like the evidence for the chaos theory? Like, is it grounded in anything, or is
literally
it just
all around you? So
Okay,
every
you sound
time that
like-
there's like a minor difference in like timing, like let's say if you're at a stoplight and you're about to reach it, but at the very last second you decide to slam on your brakes, but if you actually decided to go through it, you would have ended up at two completely different paths despite just like this tiny little change. Chaos theory is all around you. Perturbations and bifurcations are everywhere.
Yeah. So I'm not necessarily convinced by that. I mean, is there empirical evidence, or is it just your experience?
You want to reject like all of chaos theory? I'm confused.
I mean,
the empirical evidence is like the three body problem, for example, or like two armed pendulums. Cat, thank you so much for the perfect beats. Appreciate that. W Cat in the comment section.
Wait. So can you give me an example of the chaos theory producing a complex system? Can you give an example of that?
Yeah, well, so first of all, chaos theory literally works with dynamical systems. So everything that chaos theory works with is necessarily a system, and it's like things like the weather, for example. That's chaos theory.
Yeah, we don't see like complex, things arise from the weather. I mean, that's not.
You don't think the weather is complex, really?
It's not a.
Are you
It's not a
serious?
complex system. It's not a complex system.
Are you kidding? You don't think the weather is a complex system, really?
What's more complex, the human body or functions of the weather?
It depends what you mean. If you mean like orderly systems that contain order, I don't know. Maybe
one's
the
more
weather.
complex? The weather is more complex than the human body.
Well, I think both of them are quite complex. But if the definition of complexity that you gave earlier, which is just systems with order, I might say that the weather is more orderly.
Based off of what?
Based off of like the fact that the human body is quite chaotic.
I mean, there's just so many more functions of the human body than there is in relation to like the weather. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it
would
seems like
disagree.
less orderly.
What's more complex, like a phone or like the human body?
I don't really know how to compare these things.
I mean, you can, intuitionally just say the human body. Have you learned about
Not
the human
really. I don't
anatomy?
know.
I mean, have you seen the human reproductive systems and the functions of that? I mean, I think it's pretty evident, Ian. I mean,
I just don't know. I think that it's like kind of hard to compare the levels of order, especially because order is extremely subjective. What's orderly to you is going to be very different from what's orderly to me.
I mean, given that we can agree on a definition, I think we can establish agreements based upon that definition.
I probably don't agree with this definition, but I don't think that's not really what I mean when I say complexity. But
okay, so can you give a better and sufficient definition?
Well, I mean, I don't really need to. So all words do is just like they're just vehicles for meaning. All I need to do is understand your meaning. I don't need to like give a definition for this.
Yeah,
so if this is what you mean, then that's great. I just need to understand it. It's not really how I use the words, but by your definition, you'd probably have to conclude that the thing is that's more orderly. Actually, I think like a phone is probably more orderly than the human body.
Why?
Because it's been designed and has like all the superfluous components taken out, whereas the human body, like 75% of our DNA is completely useless. We don't have that in like a phone, for example. All the parts are there for a reason.
You don't think you could take a certain part out of a phone and it would still function and work as it would normally?
Which part would you be taking out? It would probably be functioning quite a bit worse. Whereas you could take out like 75% of our DNA and we would be functioning literally exactly the same.
I don't know what the part would particularly be. I'm just saying, I'm sure there's some part of the phone that you could cut out and it would be fine. I mean, I don't know what the part is.
I don't think so. That seems unlikely.
I mean, I don't. So you said 75% of our DNA is useless, right?
Yeah. That it just doesn't get expressed. That it contains like no information to it at all. Yeah.
What does that mean? Can you explain that?
So one of the functions of evolution to have like. So your genes do like a lot of different things. There's like one that has like a cut and paste function where the gene will just like get up and go elsewhere. But of course, in its new position, there's absolutely no guarantee that it will do anything. Another thing that genes also do is they like make copies of themselves, and then those copies go elsewhere. But still, there's like no guarantee that these will do literally anything. Now, this is a really good feature for evolution for trying to get like more genetic diversity. But this doesn't actually do anything with our body. Like it doesn't express itself in the majority of cases, even though in some scenarios it helps us get like mutations, which could be good for survival.
Okay, so it does do something.
Yeah, but the DNA itself doesn't do anything. You could take out 75% of it and you'd be fine.
But the DNA can mutate and lead to further beneficial mutations, right?
Yeah, if the DNA was like elsewhere or perhaps different, it could do something. But in the place that it's in, it doesn't do anything.
But it can go to a point in which it does do something, right?
Well, this DNA specifically, no, it can't. But this is just like the remnant of like a DNA that got copied somewhere where it doesn't do anything.
I mean, yeah, I know you're talking about evolution. I don't really accept that. But
do you have a critique of evolution?
I mean, it seems unintuitive. Is kind of
part of it. What it's saying is that things that are good at surviving and reproducing are going to survive and reproduce.
It's unintuitive in the sense that I think, to say that these, random genetic mutations create, these, like I was saying earlier, these complex systems just come from random genetic mutations. I think it's, it's hard to, rationalize that. It's just unintuitive for me.
No, that's like, okay, because so our genes change via like a number of like mutation mechanisms, as I just explained. These mutations, most of the time they do nothing, but some of the time they express in these traits. So there's like random variations in traits. Now, these traits could be neutral, or they could be beneficial, or they could be harmful. If they're harmful, then it's more likely that you will not survive and reproduce than if you didn't have it. If it's advantageous, then it's going to be more likely, which means that if it's harmful, you have less of a chance of surviving and reproducing. And if it's beneficial, then you have more of a chance of surviving and reproducing. That's actually pretty intuitive to me. I'm confused as to why you think that's unintuitive.
So the mutations are completely random, right? They're not based off of anything. And to say that, we came from a single cell and, we had all these beneficial mutations and we're here today from a single cell from wherever that supposedly came from. I mean, you just can't. That's just not intuitive.
Well, you just can't isn't really an argument.
I mean, I don't not convinced by the evidence for it. I mean, there's no evidence that we
so
can't
why does
cell.
so if we didn't evolve, then why is our second chromosome a perfect fusion of the 2A and 2B chromosomes that are shared by all the other great apes?
I mean, I could give an answer. You probably wouldn't like it, though. I would say
what's
it's
your
probably.
answer?
I'd probably
Nated,
say.
thank you so much for the flying jets. That's sick as fuck. I love the military-industrial complex.
I would say it's a product of like the fall.
Oh, prove it. Prove that the fall happened.
I mean, you're not a Christian, are you?
No, so you can't appeal to this thing. Like, if you're making the claim that the fall happened, then you need to prove that the fall happened.
I mean, this is just what I believe. I mean, why do you not believe in Christian?
Well,
but
you said it, so you should defend it.
I'm saying this is. I don't even know. I'm saying that is an answer that's the only answer I could come up with.
Yeah, then
Fall
prove
or
it.
Satan. The fall or Satan.
Yeah, prove it. Prove that either of those things happen or exist.
Well, because those things. Oh, you want me? I can't prove those.
If you want to talk about unintuitive, do you know how intuitive it is to say that, like, because this one motherfucker ate from the tree of knowledge, ate the fruit from the tree of knowledge, that God is allowing like infinite generations to be tortured forever? That's pretty fucking unintuitive. That seems like a pretty disproportionate punishment. I can't even give a reductio because that itself is just crazy.
I mean, you disobey the God of the universe and the God that created everything. I mean,
Do
I
you think
that's
infinite
sufficient.
suffering is an appropriate, proportionate punishment for
So if you
disobeying one command?
Maybe not for one, but I mean, if you incessantly commit crimes against an infinite being, you deserve infinite punishment.
Yeah.
That's
So we agree that it's unintuitive that for just one disobeyment.
I mean, that's not just for one
suffering.
wait. That's not just for one disobeyment. I mean, that's for the totality of all sin that's in the world.
So if we
people
stopped sinning, would our chromosomes magically shift?
probably.
That's ridiculous.
It's probably a mirage from Satan, if I'm being honest with you.
You think
A
science is a
or
mirage
product
from
of the
Satan?
law. I mean, I think the theory of evolution is like I think it's like a doctrine fairy tale from Satan. I think
Well,
Darwin
we just
got
have tons of evidence for it. Like, we share 99% of our genetics with like chimpanzees. We look at the fossil record and we see all these common ancestors raging back and a time scale that we would expect if evolution were exactly true. There's just no reason to think that it's like, also we can just demonstrate it in the lab. You can just take a bunch of bacteria, put antibiotics in, and then watch them evolve.
Yeah, so let me respond to this first part. So you're talking about how, we have the fossil record and 99.8% DNA similarities. I would just say that's also, from, a mirage from Satan. Just like, how you guys, wait. Just, how you guys say the Earth is, 4.10 billion years or whatever the hell it is. I don't believe that.
At least 4.5.
I would say the dating methods are also probably mirages from Satan or a product from the fall.
It's just math. What do you mean? Grimlock, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. W Grimlock for generational punishment is definitely no justified. W Grimlock, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. I appreciate it. So do you have any evidence that that's like, how do you know that the Bible isn't a mirage from Satan?
Because I have personal experience with the Lord Jesus Christ.
And how do you know that all of your personal experiences aren't just a mirage from Satan?
I mean, I have faith.
Gotcha. So you have no explanation. You just hope that they're not. Perfect. So
no.
we have really strong evidence insofar as we know the rate at which these things decompose and decay. What we're looking for when we date the Earth is the ratio of lead atoms that are present in it. So we date zircon crystals because when they form, there's no lead in them, which means all the lead that comes into them is going to be from decay. So we just form the ratio of uranium atoms to lead atoms, and then from that we're capable of calculating the date of the Earth, and we find that it's 4.5 billion years old at the very least.
I mean, yeah, the number just seems, if it was like 10 years ago, the number was, smaller than that, and they just keep adding on. They keep adding on years to it, and it's just like, come on, when are we going to add this?
It comes from somewhere. Do you want to know where the 4.5 comes from?
Yeah, I mean,
it's the half-life of uranium, if I'm not mistaken.
watch in 10 years. I mean, it's gonna be 6.5 billion. I mean, I'm just saying
because
it's not
it's at
reliable.
least 4.5 billion. It's
And I'm
uranium
also-
238. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The half-life of uranium 238 is 4.5 billion. Yeah.
So why does the number keep just going up? I mean, that's
Because it's, as I said, it's at least. So if we got a better like dating method.
why couldn't it be smaller? Why does it have to be at least or more? Like, why can't it be?
Yeah, because when we
that
look at the
number or
zircon
less?
crystals, the ratios are such that all of the uranium is turned into lead.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Yeah, so the dating is so when we look at these zircon crystals, which when they're forming have no lead in them, all the lead comes from uranium decomposing. All of the uranium is turned to lead.
Okay, so to get a certain amount of lead, you're saying it would take X amount of years to get this amount of lead within the
Exactly.
uranium crystals.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that sounds like good evidence, but why does the number keep going up? That's my problem. And
Because it's just like the lower bound. It's like at least 4.5 billion.
I mean, we have seen, with other dating methods like carbon dating be extremely inaccurate.
Thanks so much, Nate. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was
Carbon
saying,
dating?
we see, with dating methods like carbon dating just be extremely inaccurate.
Well, it's carbon dating's only accurate up until like 50,000 years. So you just got to use the right tool for the right job. That's saying like the project was unachievable because instead of using like a hammer, you used like a wrecking ball. Like if you use the wrong tool for the job, then you're going to get bad outcomes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 50 million years, 50,000 years. I mean, it's all just, it's all fake to me. I mean, that's just my opinion on it. 50 billion, whatever it is. I don't care. I think the Earth is about 6,000 to 10,000 years old.
And what's your evidence for that?
I mean, I don't. Do you know VOR?
Yeah, I do know VOR.
He's really good at defending the young Earth. I mean, I think you should listen to him. He talks about the geological strata that in some of the layers, lower layers, we would it would like expect to see that from a global flood. And he talks about the dating methods and how the inaccuracies of some of these dating methods.
Okay, wait. Let's talk about the global flood for a second. If the flood happened, how did the polar bears get to Antarctica? How did that come about?
Oof, I'm not. I couldn't explain that to you. I mean, why wouldn't they be able to?
Because it's like a really long distance. Because we see them when they swim out too far, they're actually like drowning because it's like too far of a swim for them.
Okay, so do we know where the flood was? I mean, we don't know where it was.
Well, the flood was global. It says if you read the words of the flood, it says like the flood.
But where was
everything.
Noah? We don't know where Noah was.
Noah landed on a mountain in the Middle East.
Okay, I mean, didn't we find the ark near Turkey?
No, we didn't find the ark at all. No,
I'm pretty sure Ron Wyatt found Noah's boat or something like that.
No, there's literally no evidence of this. No.
Have you looked into Ron Wyatt?
Yeah, I've looked into all of the ark claims. It's all nonsense. Everyone who ever tries to find the ark has found it in just different places. AG, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Did you
there's
read
no
Ron
evidence
Wyatt's
that any of these things are. I haven't read the book, but like all the evidence is like they found like a hill. They found like a hill that looks like vaguely boat shaped. That's just not good evidence.
I think you should look into Ron Wyatt because
have you read Graham Oppie? I think you should look into Graham Oppie.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Can you enlighten me on that?
Well, Graham Oppie is like a philosopher.
Okay, I don't really. Okay, what is he? What is?
He's like a philosopher. He's like I think William Lane Craig described him as like the most formidable atheist philosopher.
I don't. Okay. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we're just giving each other like recommendations about what we need to like look into, yeah.
He's going to convert me to atheism?
Graham Oppie, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and you should look into Ron Wyatt. I'll do it if you look into Ron, because I mean, he found Jesus' tomb, he found the ark, he found chariot wheels at the bottom of the Red Sea.
Well, that's really interesting that you claim that, because I know that the ark has never been found, Jesus' tomb has never been found. That's why their locations are unknown. And if you Google chariots in the Red Sea, the very first thing that comes up is an AP News article that says, fact check, false articles claiming that chariots were found in the Red Sea.
I mean,
the Associated Press says that you're wrong.
I mean, what authority do they have?
The Associated Press? They're just like the most reliable news organization and on probably in the entire planet, that if you look up like a graph, a diagram of like which are the most reliable sources of news, which are the least biased sources of news, the Associated Press is going to be at the very top of the graph, right next to I think like Reuters on every single one of them, whereas Ron Wyatt isn't going to be anywhere.
I mean, they can say what they want about Ron Wyatt, but Ron Wyatt has his own discoveries, and we can read about them, and we can see what he has to say about them and what he's found, and the information's there, and they can't disprove any of what he said. They're just saying hey, it's false because they're probably atheist.
Well, yeah, and is he a Christian? Did he come into this a Christian trying to find the Ark?
No, I think he found the stuff, then he became a Christian because this was strong enough evidence to convert him to Christianity.
Did he ever publish his data?
Yeah, I mean, it's all over. I mean, I don't know if he published it in like a scientific journal, but I mean, it's all over online, and you can go look into it.
Wait, so an American nurse anesthesiast? An amateur archaeologist? Is this Ron Wyatt?
I mean, what does that have to do? What his credentials don't really have?
It seems like he has no credentials. He has like literally no credibility on the subject.
Come on, his credentials have no bearing on whether he can, accurately, discover these things. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, wait, so that's crazy. Even Answers in Genesis says that his claims are fraudulent. That's insane. Do you know how bad you need to be fucking up for Answers in Genesis to be calling you a fraud?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really go to Answers in Genesis because they're, I disagree with some of their doctrines too. So I mean, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but that's just like Answers in Genesis bends over backwards to defend literally any claim they want, and even they're saying like Ron Wyatt is a fraud. So wait, why can't I just go and find the Ark? Like where is it?
Dude, wait, let me address this first. Answers in Genesis is not like a Christian apologetic website. They're not. They teach false doctrine and stuff. So, I mean, they're not reliable in any sense.
I think that you'd probably agree with like 95% of their articles, not going to lie.
No, they teach false doctrine.
Yeah, I agree. They do teach nonsense. It's just that it's nonsense that's in line with the other nonsense you believe. So
that's funny. All right, what was your other question?
Yeah, can I where's the Ark located? Can I go and see it?
I mean, I believe it was somewhere around Turkey. I mean,
yeah. So can I go and see it?
Yeah, I think you can look up Ron Wyatt's.
Yeah, wait. It's like similarly interesting.
I'll go with you, dude. I'll go with you.
There's like no Ark.
I mean, there is.
Oh wait, so they found.
Wait, I know you don't want there to be.
This is such a joke. They didn't find the Ark. They found like the landing place, and the landing place is just like some vaguely like indented piece of land. That's your evidence, a vaguely indented piece of land. That's all your evidence that the flood happened.
Oh, so we do have evidence that the flood happened. So don't
yeah,
go
it's
around
like
saying
it's
no
evidence. It's
wow,
like
we do have evidence.
It's like saying like,
Nice.
well, there's like an indent on my car. There's like a scratch on my car. I guess that means that like Wolverine is real.
Yeah, nice. So you concede that there is evidence of it.
Yeah,
so
like the dumbest, lamest, weakest evidence that has ever existed. Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
like laughing out loud joke of evidence. Your evidence is literally just like land that is indented. That's literally your evidence.
I think it's pretty strong evidence for the flood. But
so wait. So do you take if there's a scratch in my car, would you take that as evidence that Wolverine is real?
No, because that doesn't lead to the conclusion that.
But I'm just saying, like Wolverine was there and he scratched my car. So is that evidence that
was he there?
Yeah. Did the Ark cause this?
Absolutely.
Prove it.
I mean, I'm like I was saying, if you want to talk about the flood, you should talk to VOR. He'll probably, he would destroy you on something, in relation to the flood or the age of the earth.
I've already talked to Vor before. He got Vored on.
I saw that. You should talk to him again. He destroyed you in Dr. Blitz. I mean, it was terrible.
Well, yeah, if you have like hardcore tracking issues, you might think so, but no.
I mean, no. I mean, you guys couldn't answer his questions. Same thing with that.
Wait, which of his question could we not? If we couldn't answer the question, then you should have no problem running the question right now.
Listen, this live was over a month ago. I saw you and Dr. Blitz. It was a month ago. I don't remember the exact question verbatim.
Yeah. So. But if you think that we were getting like demolished, then you should just like demolish me right now in front of everyone. Go for it.
Nah,
what was the question that demolished us? What was the question that we couldn't answer?
Sadly, I don't have the body of knowledge.
You have no idea. You left the question in your other pants.
Yeah. So can you disprove God? That's my
easily.
question.
Yeah, super easily. Yeah.
Go for it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, do you think that? So, first of all, I just need this argument. I need to know if you think like a fetus is a person.
I mean, it depends on how you're going to define person. I am pro-life, if that's what you're trying to hint
perfect.
at.
So, and are you pro-life from conception?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
am.
So the reason God isn't real is because if he was, then the universe would be like finely tuned for baby killing. That 70% of conceptions don't make it out of the womb, that the deadliest place in all of human history is literally the womb. And if God designed us, if we're made in God's image, if he made our anatomy, then God chose to turn the womb into like a slaughterhouse. So if God's real, why does he hate kids so much?
Yeah. So this is a really easy question. It's
Yeah,
going to
go
be,
for it.
this is just going to be a product of the fall, man. I mean, this is
Oh,
easy.
prove it. Prove it. Prove that happened. Prove it. Also, wait, so first of all, I have evidence that that's not the case insofar as most miscarriages happen either or primarily because of chromosomal defects, which leads to the fetus getting discarded, or because of hyperactive immune systems. That's what the majority of miscarriages come from. And unfortunately, God claims credit for both of those in Exodus 4:11 when he claims credit for giving people the disabilities that they have.
It was a product of the fall.
No, but God's claiming that he's giving
Yeah,
people
but it was
disabilities. Both of these things are disabilities.
Yeah. So these things are products. These things are, negative things from the fall. That's
What do you think my argument is, and how do you think that responds to it in relation
you
to like
didn't-
God giving it to them? How does this?
you
Because I just gave you evidence from the Bible that God is the one who gives these disabilities.
Why did he give those disabilities?
I don't
That's
think
the
God's
question I'm
real.
asking. Well, no, it's an internal critique, right? So I mean, you're like assuming.
Well,
it
yeah,
under my
it's an internal
under my
critique, which is
framework.
why you can't ask me questions about God because my answer is always going to be, I don't think God's real. So if you want to give an explanation for why God gave these disabilities, but you're going to be committed to the position that God is the one who
Yeah, so
caused the womb to be so deadly to children.
Yeah. So as far as the disabilities go, God punished people for the fall, and as
So
far
it is God
as-
doing it.
I mean, I guess in that instance it is, but I mean, I would say these other things like earthquakes. I heard you talk about the
Wait,
earthquake
but let's
question.
just
Those are
focus on
from
the
fall.
children because
I'm just saying.
I'm interested. Like, how many kids? So if we sit down and total it up, the number comes to around 400 billion children. Billion with a B. To put that into perspective, there's like 8 billion alive right now. 400 billion over the course of human history have been unalived by like miscarriages and stillbirths. So why would God do that to so many kids? And how many kids would God need to do that to before you start believing that he's not all good?
Dude,
What's God like? What's the
yeah,
maximum number of kids that God could kill before you start suspecting that he's evil?
Yeah, he's not killing kids. I mean, that's not what he's doing.
Well, he is because he's the one who causes the miscarriages, so he's killing them. Yeah,
It's a product of the fall.
but he's the one perpetuating the punishment.
He is forced to do that because there's punishment for sin. There's consequences for sin.
No, that's not going to be a satisfactory explanation because if he's
mean-
if he's the agent who's actually carrying out the punishment for the fall, then in the same way that like let's say like somebody came home with like a bad test grade and then their parents like killed them, your parents are going to be responsible for the murder of this child, even if the
Wait.
murder itself is framed as a punishment.
Yeah, so-
just because it's a punishment doesn't mean that you're not responsible for the thing that you do, which means that even if it is a punishment, God's still responsible for the unaliving of the children.
Yeah, so this is a really easy response.
Yeah, go
so
for it.
so if a child comes home from school, they have their test and they have a subpar grade and they have a set punishment for it. Murdering the child is not going to be a justifiable punishment for a bad test score.
Whereas 400 billion
Yes, it
dead
is.
babies isn't going to
Yes,
be
it
a
is.
justified punishment. Wait, so
Yes,
you
it
think
is.
400 billion dead babies is a justified punishment for one person a million years ago disobeying God? You
I
think,
think
that that's the case?
I think whatever happens as a product from the fall is justified. Yes.
Gotcha. Well, so in the same way, I could say that like whatever the parents do to the kids is justified, and that the kid has done it to themselves essentially
Okay,
by your
So-
logic.
No. Do you agree? Do you think that's justified?
Absolutely not. That's insane to say that anything that
we
because
agree.
one person disobeyed God in your worldview, that literally any amount of violence
because-
is justified. That's insane.
No, let me explain this. Because before that single action was taken of Eve eating from the tree of knowledge, there was a perfect world. There was no sin. There was no evil. The world in all of existence and reality was void of evil and sin. And that was the moment sin entered the world. And that is why it is so monumental.
Prove it.
Listen, you were supposed to prove to me that God doesn't exist. I mean,
Yeah, because your explanation, it presupposes all this other bullshit. Like, you need to prove this stuff.
well, you are trying to internally critique me. I mean,
no, so I'm running the evidentiary problem of evil. You can give theodicies to the evidentiary problem of evil. They just need to be evidentially supported. So any explanation for any amount of evil that exists, you need to be the one who proves that your explanation is true.
I mean, you don't accept the Christian worldview.
Yeah, you need to prove the Christian worldview. In order to have access to things like the fall, you need to prove that Christianity is true.
Ooh, that's a tough one, man.
If I was running a logical problem of evil, then this would work. But
yeah, I have my personal experiences, and that's how I know the fall is true.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
so you have no reason for me to think that the fall is true.
Yeah, so you can't prove that God doesn't exist, Ian. I mean,
Okay,
this is
all right, I can just run some critiques of the fall. Why not? Do you think incest is always wrong?
Wait. Let me ask one more question. So you do think my answers are sufficient given a logical problem of evil?
So logical problem, I don't run this for logical problem of evil. Anything that's formulated as like, why is this the case? That's an evidential problem of evil. Whereas logical problems of evil are like premise 1, premise 2, premise 3, premise 4. If you want to run a logical problem of evil, we totally
that's fine.
can.
Let's get into the fall. Let's get into the fall.
So do you think incest is always wrong?
No.
In what scenarios do you think incest is okay? Grimlock, thank you so much for the $6.66 for ancestral punishment unjust. W Grimlock, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate that, Grimlock.
Well, so there was a time in which incest was necessary for humanity to partake in.
Nope, that's not true, because God could have just made more people.
No, because he wanted to. That's not how we decided to make things.
Oh, yeah. So he could have. He just didn't. He preferred incest. So why did God prefer incest?
All right, am I back?
Yeah. So God could have made it in a way where there was no incest.
Can you say what you said again?
Yeah, God could have made it in a way where there was no incest by just making like, I don't know, 1,000 people. But he wanted incest.
Yeah, so,
why did God want incest?
No, I don't necessarily think he wanted incest. I think he wanted just to
make it in a way that necessitated, which necessitates incest. So why would God require incest?
Yeah, so God's plan is perfect, right? He has a perfect plan, and that was a part of his perfect plan. So I mean,
you think incest has a place in a perfect plan? So there's some situations where incest is perfect.
I just told you. Listen, everything that happens within this world leads to an ultimate perfection, which is God's plan. That is what it leads to. I'm not saying rationality is perfect, but I'm saying it leads to an ultimate perfection.
Oh, you don't want to run that one. Do you think so you're saying that there's a moral justification, God has a moral justification for everything that's happened on this planet? And insofar as it leads to the greater good.
Wait. Let's talk about incest real quick. Let's
continue. But I just want to, because you just said something that has crazy reductios.
Oh, I know the reductios you're going to run. You think child rape leads to a greater good, all that. Yeah, I know.
Well, no, it's even worse than that. It's like it's in the same line, but it's like worse than that, much worse than that.
Yeah, I would say everything that happens and that occurs within this reality leads to an ultimate good. I would say that.
So you're saying that there's a moral justification for everything that happens in this reality?
Yes.
So you think Jeffrey Epstein was morally justified when he molested kids?
Not for humans.
So from God's so if God told Jeffrey Epstein the way that his actions lead to the greater good, then would Jeffrey Epstein be morally justified in raping children?
I mean, well, I hold to divine command theory. So
not commanding him. If he just told him, he was like, "Hey, Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, you're already going to rape these kids, but when you do, that's going to lead to the greater good in this way, this way, this way, and this way." Not a command, just informing him the ways in which it leads to the greater good. So if he did that, would Jeffrey Epstein be morally justified in raping children?
Yeah. So I got to think about this one. I don't think God would ever do that. So,
But if that did
engage
happen,
with this question, I don't think he would do that.
but if it
It's
did
like an
happen,
impossible
would
hypothetical.
Jeffrey Epstein be morally justified in raping children?
What would happen if 2 + 2 = 5? I mean, I can't answer that question. Just
Well,
like
there's gonna be a logical limitation. What's the logical limitation in God just informing somebody of some information?
You're saying God comes down to planet Earth and informs Jeffrey Epstein about this?
Yeah, he just says, like, by the way, your actions lead to the greater good in this way.
How would he know it's God?
Well, it doesn't matter because it's the same justification. Insofar as it's like the true justification that's given to him, and he now has the true justification, then you'd have to conclude that Jeffrey Epstein would be morally justified in raping children, which is insane.
I mean, yeah, this is a tough question. I would say, under what I said, every action, everything that occurs does in fact lead to, an ultimate glorification and ultimate good. I don't think that necessarily changes whether God not commands, you framed it differently. You said informs.
Yep, he just says, hey, your actions lead to the greater good in these ways.
No, okay, so I would say it would not be morally justified.
Why not? Because Jeffrey Epstein has the moral justification for it, so how would it not be morally justified?
No, he doesn't. He's
Why
a
not?
human.
Because God told him what the moral justification is.
matter.
God told him that your actions are going to lead to the greater good in this way, this way, and this way. If he has the moral justification, then his actions are morally justified.
Listen, so me as a Christian, I know that every action that I take is going to lead to a greater good. But that doesn't mean, if I want to grape a child, that doesn't mean I'm going to go grape a child.
But if you did grape a child, would you know that it leads to the greater good? Can you feel confident that if you stepped out and graped a child, that it would lead to the greater good?
Every action leads to a greater good.
Yeah, so you feel confident that if you go out and grape a child, that it leads to the greater good?
So, considering that everything leads to a greater good? Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, you're not a Christian. So, you think this is crazy. But, once you seek God out, you'll understand this stuff.
I hope not, because that's insane.
Yeah, I don't have a moral justification, but it is gonna lead to this ultimate greater good.
Okay.
But I still don't have a moral justification. Jeffrey Epstein doesn't have a moral justification. Given this plan that with evils that leads to an ultimate good doesn't mean every action is morally justified. I don't know why.
But just that, not that it's morally justified, just that it leads to the greater good.
It doesn't make it. Yeah, I agree. Immoral actions lead to greater goods. I agree.
But just that the person who's perpetuating them can feel confident and comfortable knowing that anything they do is going to lead to the greater good. If like Jeffrey Epstein, if he had the same mindset that you did, then he could go out knowing that all of his actions would lead to the greater good.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey Epstein still knew he was doing something morally wrong. I don't think, even given that it leads to a greater good, that these are coursive actions that we should take. I think those two things are compatible at once without, any contradictions.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I agree. Just that you have to bite the insane bullet of saying that you could do these things and feel confident and comfortable in your worldview that all of it is for the greater good. That the horrific things you do are going to turn into greater goods elsewhere.
Yes, but you're not going to feel good doing immoral actions. You're not going to feel good sinning. That's not
Jeffrey Epstein sure did.
I think his heart was tainted from Satan.
Well, I don't think Satan exists, but I'm sure he had like a blast doing these like horrific things. I'm sure if it wasn't fun for him or like enjoyable for him, he probably just wouldn't have done it.
Was Jeffrey Epstein a Christian?
I have no idea.
He clearly wasn't. Obviously he was partaking within these actions. He obviously wasn't. So his heart was probably tainted by Satan.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Just like your heart is. Just like your heart is tainted by Satan.
Tainted by Satan. Well, I still don't believe in Satan, so you still need to prove these things.
It's in your heart, dude.
Well, I'm like, I'm like looking into my heart. Doesn't feel tainted. What now?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, so I looked into my heart. There was no taint.
That's funny. I'm not talking about, within... wait, you did not look into your heart, by the way. How did you do that?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I just like closed my eyes and then traced my heart.
Yeah, I've never heard about that. You know, I don't. But you still haven't proved God doesn't exist. So
Grimlock, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. W Grimlock, W666. Bible teaches obedience, not morals. That's true. W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate that.
That's a
okay. Yeah,
That's a strong
I'll just run
worldview.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll just run like a logical problem of evil on you. It's like super easy.
Let's go.
Do you think God designed us? Did like design
Yeah,
our
I do.
anatomy specifically? And do you think God's perfect?
Wait. Let me first. You said okay. First question was, do you think God designed us? Yes, initially, and then we got changed via the fall. So kind of in a certain sense. Basically all the bad things.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, basically everything. Bad.
So what about our? Could you point out like the specifics about our anatomy that changed? And
No,
also, so
no.
you would say
But-
that we're not made in God's image insofar as the fall tainted us.
No, we are made within God's image in the sense that, you know, we started out as that. And our
But
souls, it's our
was
souls that
I-
are made within his image. Our souls are. That's what.
Gotcha. But our bodies are not made in His image.
No.
Did God know that the fall was going to happen?
Given that he is all-knowing, yes, and he knew the fall was a part of his plan to achieve this greater good and glorification of God.
So
and,
God
eternal
wanted
life.
the fall. Perfect. Glad we agree.
No,
so God
no,
wanted.
no.
Well, it's a part of His plan. Does God want the things that are in His plan?
I guess I'd have to say yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So God wants the fall. God wanted the fall.
sure.
Okay. I mean, that itself is like a crazy
mean,
reductio, but sure.
maybe-
Sure.
maybe not.
That's fine.
No,
So
I
do
could
you think-
maybe retract that. I would have to
Yeah.
think about that. I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I'll say
So-
yeah for the sake of conversation. I'll let's see how this leads me down. Let's see what I run into if I say yeah. So let's go.
that's like that's probably like I don't know. If you have like a better explanation, you can give it because that's going to lead you to some like places that you're probably not going to get out of.
No, because are you then going to say like child rape is a part of his plan,
No.
or like some crazy
No.
thing like that?
No.
Okay,
This is
what
I
is
just
this?
run like I call it the problem of anatomical evil.
Okay, so let's.
So God designed our anatomy, but it changed after the fall. The thing that God wanted. So God wants our anatomy to be in the way that it currently is.
No. I
But God
wouldn't
wanted the
accept that.
fall.
I would say this is a tough question, man. I'll give you credit. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say yeah. Let's say yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, so God wants our anatomy the way that it is. Perfect. So, do you think God is like a perfect designer?
God is a perfect being.
Yeah.
Given
And does that
everything
extend
he does.
to the way that He designs things? Like, does He design everything in like a morally perfect way?
I don't know how design really relates to morals. That seems like a weird connection.
Okay. So I think that there's like something like engineering ethics as like an engineer. So let's say that you were designing like a scope for like a pew pew, and for this like scope, it was it's like heat seeking. And works for all these different animals, but you programmed into this like heat seeking scope like a child option, so you could like seek out and like hunt down children if the customer wanted to. I think that would be like a crazy immoral design choice.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I would if it gave him the ability to hunt down children.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, wait. I mean, that's not necessarily inherently immoral. I would say what it could lead to would be immoral, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that in and of itself is an immoral action.
That's like obviously immoral. If you program into your product like a way for them to easily like take the lives of children, that's like insanely immoral. Like obviously.
Wait. Okay,
immoral.
I missed that part. Wait, with that, they can kill children or what?
Yeah. Just it's like a scope that assists in them like hunting down like specifically children. Andrew, thanks for the $6.66 for. For Epstein didn't need to be Christian. It was all for the greater good, right? W Ander, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate it.
Wait, so hunting down? Do you mean literally like?
Yeah.
Do you mean just finding? Or do you
with
mean
like
like shooting?
so it's like a rifle scope. and it like auto targets based on like heat signatures, and you can like select the animal you want it to auto target. Would it be immoral as the engineer to put in like a auto target children feature?
It finds children, or it shoots them and finds them?
Yeah, it like finds them. It's like auto targeting them. Yeah.
I mean, given that it doesn't shoot them, I would say it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's no moral action.
It's fine to put in like a child seeking mode into your rifle. That's fine.
Given that they don't shoot the person or the
That's
children.
insane.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah, sure. I don't think it is, but sure.
That's crazy. I think that you as the engineer, if you do something crazy and insane, like putting like the child finding option, yeehaw, thank you so much, Beathers. Like putting the child finding option into like a scope of a rifle. If you program like the child seeking mode into the scope, then you've made an obviously immoral design choice.
Yeah, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I mean, given that the person doesn't do anything with the rifle and just doesn't shoot children, I mean, I think given that, it's a morally fine action for the designer to do that. But
that just seems crazy to me.
Okay, but let's say I'll agree that it's not. What does this prove?
Yeah, so
what does this
just
lead
that
to?
Based on the design, that the engineer bears like some level of moral responsibility. So the argument that this hovers around is just that there's a more moral way that God could have designed our bodies, which means that our body is not the most perfect thing that we have. Or it's not the most perfect way that it could have been. Specifically, God could have given us like the fish anatomy, which would have made it impossible for like grape to occur. Or he could have he could have given us like consent pheromones, which would have made it impossible for grape to occur. And then we'd have a world with no grape, and that would be awesome. But God prefers the grape world.
Yeah, so you were talking about how a perfect design or something? Didn't I already inform you about the fall?
Yeah, but God wants the fall.
Oh, okay, I did accept that.
Giovanni, thank you so much for the $3 for the change from the fall. Wait 1 second.
But I would...
Oh, yeah, I was just reiterating what I was saying.
Even if I accept
Giovanni in the comments.
Even if I accept that God wants the fall, it doesn't change the fact that our design is not perfect anymore.
Yeah, but God wants our design to be this way.
Okay.
Yeah, so God wants us to have the anatomy to grape people when he could have made it so that we don't have the anatomy to grape people.
I don't think so. I think it's just a product of the fall. And Satan.
But God wanted the fall. It's okay. You don't need to have the answers. I just think that you've bitten some pretty insane bullets.
Yeah, maybe I could say he wanted the fall, but I don't have to say he wanted the products of the fall. Sorry, my voice is.
So what of the fall did he want?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have access to that body of knowledge, so I would just stay agnostic.
You would say agnostic to what he wants from the fall. If he didn't want the outcomes of the fall, but he wanted the fall to happen, but he didn't want the outcome of the fall. This is just confusing. How can you like want the thing, but you don't want the product? Like you want to cook a steak, but you don't want a steak to be cooked.
No, you want to cook a. How do I form this? I think that's a false analogy. I think that's a false equivalency. I don't think that's very analogous to what.
I think that it's like one-to-one analogous. I think it's like very directly.
No, because I just said I would say agnostic. I don't have access to that body of knowledge.
Okay. I don't know. That just seems like deeply unintuitive. Like anything that I could. I'm just saying as to how God could want the fall, but he's like totally averse to all the things that the fall did.
I'm just saying you can't prove that God doesn't exist, Ian. I mean, this is
insane. I mean, so I can because all I need to accept is that like I just need to reject like these insane bullets that you've been.
Given that these bullets are even not accepted, I mean, this doesn't prove the existence of.
No, if you did accept, if you accept that like God designed our anatomy, then that's like actually. Oh, Brian, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Venmo for. Didn't humans have the same anatomy before the fall? Is what Brian's wondering. But W666, no. W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate that, Brian.
No, Brian, we didn't. But yeah, I gotta go.
So did anatomy change or didn't? Oh, you're leaving?
We did,
Perfect.
but I gotta go. But I'll pray for you, Ian.
I'll pray
I
for
hope you
you.
find Jesus. Sorry, my voice is fucked
Do you
up.
want to pray for me right now?
No, I gotta go, man.
Okay, gotcha.
I-
Well, appreciate you coming on up here. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. If you are in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older, that you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. If you don't believe in one of those, not going to talk to you. And that you have an argument which does not involve personal experience. Otherwise, probably not going to talk to you. But make sure you're dropping a follow so you never, ever miss a single debate in the future. Make sure if you're 18 or older, consider joining the community. There's a link to the Discord in my bio. Giovanni, thank you so much for the Cash App. You should mention to him the Jewish people used mushrooms. Ander, thank you so much for the $7.77 on Venmo for Sign My Boobs. Thank you, Ander. Ander, W777. Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yo,
What's up? How's it going, Lewis? How old are you?
18, mate.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
Christian.
Okay, so what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
That you're a gay little faggot, mate, and you deserve to die.
That's not very demure. That's not very
You
mindful.
deserve to die, you
It's not very
cunt.
cutesy. That's not very demure. That's not very thoughtful.
Prick, gay little prick. Take up that bum, you fucking
Oh wow,
prick.
I'd be pretty upset too if I had the intelligence that you have. Can't even debate me on the existence of God. Let's go. I accept your surrender. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Well, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm old enough, so let me know
Wait,
if
wait,
you got
but
questions,
what year
'cause
were
I
you-
can answer you.
Wait, but what year were you born? Like, how old are you? Because you sound
2003.
quite young.
Oh, no, baby, but I got all your questions. Let me know.
You said 2003?
Yes, let
Could
me
you
know.
just give me your age?
I just told you 2003, little bruv.
Yeah, and what age does that correspond to? Are you like a 16-year-old?
I'm 19.
I don't think so.
Well, let me know what your questions is, because I got you.
Yeah, you gotta be 18 or older in order to request to join. Sorry. Yeah, that would not work. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. You got to be 18 or older to request to join. Make sure you're coming with arguments that you believe in the God of the Bible, Torah, or Quran. If you don't do that, not going to talk to you. Oh, fuck. I brought up one too many. Alan, how old are you? Nevia, thank you so much for the $3 on Cash App for I love you. Oh, that's not very demure of you. That's not very cutesy of you. Yeah, sorry, I had to take a second. Sorry it took so long. I just take a second to like block these people so they can't just like, otherwise they'll just hop right back in my like guest request box if I kick them. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Yo, hello.
Oh, sorry, I kicked you too soon. That's my bad. Yeah, feel free to request to join.
Hello?
Hey, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Yeah, and what year were you born?
2001.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate
Fucking
because I was
nigger, I hope you die, you nigger. Go to hell.
Okay, yeah.
Nigger. Nigger balls.
That's not very demure of you. That's not very cutesy. That's not very mindful. By the way, these are like the most. These are like the loving Christians. Just so you know, this is what Christian love looks like. What's up? How's it going?
Nigger.
Yeah. Well. Damn, we've had some bad luck so far.
Listen, bro, suck your mum, yeah. I don't know why you think God's not real.
Can I ask how old you are?
Don't worry about that, man. You're square ahead.
Well, wait, but you gotta be 18 or older, so how old are you?
Nobody cares.
How old are you?
No, man.
Beth, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Cash App for putting up with moron kids. I appreciate that, Beth. W Beth, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 30. I was born in 93.
Okay, perfect. What religion are you?
I don't specify 100%, but I do lean more towards Christianity.
Gotcha, but you believe in the Bible?
Yes, for the most part. There are some things that are a little questionable sometimes. I don't fully agree with the homosexuality, but for the most part, everything is pretty kind of clear. I know it's kind of wild, but I do understand a lot of the things that go on and whatnot.
That would seem to go against like the point of the Bible, that if you're using your intuitions to judge the Bible, that some things in the Bible are right or wrong, then it seems like you would kind of like miss what the Bible was intended to be from the worldview that adopts the Bible. That the Bible is supposed to be a way for you to get your intuitions to the proper state. It's supposed to like tell you more things and like explain the things that you're like doing wrong in your life. But if you're using your own intuition as the standard by which you judge the Bible, then that seems like it would be pretty contradictory. I'm just not sure how you accept any of the Bible if that's the case.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's hard to agree with everything. Like I said, homosexuality, I guess I'm just like, why? But I don't think it's the end of the world, and that things can be like, it's up to him and that person at the end to decide, because I know he gives grace, and people, I understand that people feel the way that they feel and stuff like that, but I also understand his love and his grace and how things go about, you know what I mean? I understand where it's kind of, I understand your viewpoint on that.
Mm-hmm. But do you have an argument for why God is real that doesn't involve personal experience?
Okay, so I was listening earlier about the children, like basically all in all, why all these bad things happen to innocents and just in general with diseases, because that is part of personal experience for me, and I know how difficult it is to go through to see our loved ones, and even for myself to accept these kinds of things. That's a huge question that people ask. And so I know it really sucks, but I know it works out for the good. I don't think God created cancer or anything like that to necessarily punish us, from what I've kind of seen. I haven't read 100%.
Then what did God make it for?
I think it's just part of what happens in creation, like the change in DNA and a bunch of different aspects, like the air we breathe, all of the change that has happened in this world, in our environment, and all that stuff. Like,
could God cure this cancer?
He totally can. He has the power to do that.
So why doesn't he?
It's just life. It's just how it's like a sinful world and how it all started. So he doesn't banish or put that on people to punish. It just is kind of a part of this chaotic world that we live in.
Yeah, but if God is so if a doctor had the cure for cancer, but they didn't reveal it, that would be like obviously wrong. They definitely should, because it saves lives. So God would similarly be wrong for not doing that. Lance, thank you so much for the $6.66 for Giese. You're doing the Lord's work. Appreciate that. W Lancey, W666, W Satan, hail Satan. Appreciate that. So why would God make life that way? Why would God prefer the world with cancer as opposed to the world without cancer?
I would say it's the freedom of choice. He intervenes with some things and other things he doesn't. I think it works out for the good. And I understand that it would be very difficult to be, okay, somebody gets cancer and you can't, I know it would be hard to right away be like, oh, it's in God's plan, it's going to work out for the good, but something always leads to it. Like this person can choose to, yes, grieve. There's always like, it's okay to grieve and even to question God and be like, why, or even feel that hatred for a while. But then it's like, okay, should I live my life and just kind of.
Does the kid who gets unalived by cancer, do they get to live their lives? Do they get the any of the benefits of this good?
I wouldn't even say living that life is good. I would say it's a blessing to go with God, because the eternal life with him is much better than having to live your whole life on earth.
Gotcha. So you think kids who get cancer just go straight to heaven?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to cause problems for you. Insofar as the majority of people who have ever been unalived were unalived as children. This is going to account for I think like 70% of the population of humans that has ever existed is going to be children who were unalived by things like miscarriages, stillbirths, like famine, diseases, etc. So if you think that kids go straight to heaven from this 30%, the vast minority or the vast majority of them aren't going to be Christians. If we're being generous, let's say that maybe like 5 billion or like 7 billion Christians have made it into heaven. They're going to be with, I think, 400 billion children, like, who were just unalived. So 98% of heaven is composed of like fetuses and children who were unalived. So if 98% of heaven didn't earn being in heaven, why doesn't God just make everyone in heaven?
Well, children are different than adults who choose to live such a sinful life in a bunch of aspects, because the children didn't deserve it, and no matter what it is, it could be from generational curses or just natural causes, because we don't know 100% how cancer came about, why it comes about, whatever. But it's, like, the kids get to go to heaven with God, get to live, well, I don't know about if you want to say live because it's in heaven, but get to have that life with God rather than have to live on earth and deal with cancer. So I think that would be a lot better, and they're so innocent.
So before all these like people were adults, they were kids. So why wouldn't God just make everyone in heaven? Why wouldn't God do that?
Because he wants us to experience this life and to be able to choose to live a certain.
But the kids who die of cancer don't get to choose to live a certain way.
Yeah, just kind of, it's weird how it kind of works out, because sometimes us who are living can learn from these experiences, and maybe it turns into a testimony, or it shows somebody else like, okay, this person lived like this, maybe I shouldn't react like that. Or in another testimony where they reacted differently, like I could react differently and make it positive. Like some people turn to cancer foundations and donate to those things so they can try and help to figure out why these things happen, or they lead other people.
Wait, but why would you want to help or stop these things when not stopping these things means that there's like more kids in heaven? Why would you ever want to cure any like kid with cancer ever? Why would you ever want to do that?
That could change.
Because if you do that, like there's a chance that they go to hell, but if you let them be unalived by the cancer, then they go straight to heaven.
Well, it's not 100% how it can go about, because it could be turned for the good if somebody gets cancer and then something helps. So it could be like somebody gets cancer and they're totally ticked off with God and life and just have that negative, which is valid because it's not a good thing. But then they could possibly get healed and they could have been.
But why would you want them to be healed? Why would we want to ever heal any child ever of cancer? If they're unalived by cancer, then they just go to heaven. Why would we want to heal any of them?
Because it could be a positive outlook for humanity, because some things could help change and some things just don't. So there could be some things that we have figured out that do help people to live a life and maybe even possibly live it differently than they did before.
What do you think my question was, and how do you think that answers it?
You might have to ask that question again.
Okay, so you're saying that if a kid is unalived by cancer, they just get to go straight to heaven. This would seem to imply that we shouldn't try to cure kids of cancer.
Yeah, I could see where that would be kind of difficult, but sometimes it can show greater light into our lives too, because some kids, it'd be good, a lot better to go with God and stuff like that, but maybe.
So we shouldn't cure kids of cancer?
No, I think it'd be cool, because then it could give a better outlook for humans too, like a success rate of, we can do this. This is possible. There are healing techniques and different things that we could possibly.
But why would we want to? Because wait, why would we want to heal them?
I don't see why not. Healing isn't.
Because then you risk them going to hell. If you let them die of cancer, they go straight to heaven in your worldview. But if you don't heal them, but if you do heal them, there's a chance that they grow up and become like an atheist and then go to hell. So if you want to guarantee that these people get to spend eternity happy in your worldview, seems like the right thing to do would be to not cure kids of cancer.
Isn't it nice to have a choice to live a certain way of life, though?
Well, I don't know. If I was in your worldview, if I knew that kids who were unalived by cancer go to heaven, I wouldn't cure my kid of cancer. Are you kidding? I would want my kid to go. I want my kid in heaven.
It's also beautiful to experience this kind of life, to be able to live it and have that choice, to be able to live a certain way and to use it for the good and to experience everything here. Because yes, we're all drawn to sin in different ways, like everybody, Christians, no matter what, like nobody is perfect.
The math on this just doesn't work out though, because if you let your kid be unalived by cancer, then they get infinite happiness. But if you don't, then it's not a guarantee that they'll get infinite happiness. They get some like finite stuff, which is like outweighed by the infinities. And then there's now a chance that they don't get infinite happiness and instead go straight to hell. So why, like the math just doesn't work out, because it seems like in situation A, when you let your kid die of cancer, they go straight to heaven, 100% chance of them being happy forever. But when you don't do that, then you now have like whatever percent chance of them going to heaven or hell. So why would you want to pick like a let's call it like a toss up. Let's say like 50% chance of heaven, 50% chance of hell, when you could just go with the option that gives them 100% chance of going to heaven. It seems like the logical thing to do in this scenario, if you want your kid to be happy, is to let them die of cancer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I see that point of view, but I also like just the fact of living life too, because there's more of a choice. I know that the kids who get cancer, or even adults, don't have the choice of being able to.
So you think it's reasonable if somebody said, "Yeah, I let my kid die of cancer so they can go to heaven." You think that would be reasonable? That they like, "Oh, well, I could have cured him. The doctor said that they could have cured him, but I wanted him to be in heaven, so I just let him die of cancer." You think that would be reasonable?
No, because we don't control that.
What do you mean? Kids go to heaven, I thought.
Well, the fact that we let them die or not, God could choose to let them live and cure them.
Yeah, but if somebody let their kid die of cancer, if somebody like physically allowed that to happen, if they could have intervened and stop it, but they didn't, would you, if somebody came up to you and told you that, wouldn't that be insane to you?
That would be kind of wild to me, and I'd be like, well, you're taking it into your own hands and letting them choose it and not giving them, like, not putting a chance in it and using God for that. That'd be kind of wild. And I'd be like, well, dang, that kind of sucks to have that weird, like, take it and run with it view, because I know I'd want to do something, because that's where the beauty of free will and choice comes in, and that sin will be on that parent. You know,
wait, what sin did they commit?
Just not being able to do something, make that choice to help.
Wait, could you give me the verse that says that that's a sin? In what way is that disobeying the word of God? It seems like this would just be like a perfectly, like, in your worldview, it would be perfectly moral to let your kid die of cancer.
Yeah, and it's like sucky to think, like, let me just let my kid die of cancer. It would be, for me, like a surrender. It's like, God, do your will. If I'm given this choice, maybe God gave us this choice.
What verse does this violate?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know all the scriptures.
Gotcha. So you have literally no reason to think that this is going against the word of God.
Of letting your child die? And
yeah, of cancer specifically. Like, you feed them, you do all that other stuff, but you just don't, like, cure them of cancer. You have no reason to think that's not a good thing in your worldview. Although, from my perspective, that's, like, obviously crazy.
Yeah, I'd want to help my kid.
But why would it be wrong to not help your kid?
But I think it would be kind of wild to not try and help, if maybe God's like giving you this chance to be like, okay, there is something you can do. That's why we're given the free choice to be able to help with that, and to, because he sends people who help too, like doctors. He works through doctors. He's like, oh, here's this choice, like, you can try and help them. And it's like, okay, let me help them. But if it still doesn't work, it's like, well, I have to surrender that maybe that's not what's supposed to happen. And
yeah, but what commandment does this go against? How do you know that the doctors aren't just Satan?
You don't know.
Yeah, perfect. So maybe you're doing the thing that God wants you to by allowing your kid to be taken by cancer, even though the doctor says that they can cure them. How do you know that that's not the case?
You don't, and you'd have to sit with God and ask and pray and be like, is this the right thing I should do? Like, kind of look at the, you know, those commercials that have all the things that are like, oh, this will help, but then there's like 50 things that won't help. It's like, maybe this could be the chance to help with cancer and be like, let's try it and see how it works for my child. Maybe this could help other people.
What if you pray to God and he says, yeah, I don't want you to heal your kid from cancer?
Then maybe it's not going to heal and it might make it worse.
Gotcha. So you think if somebody came up to you and said, yeah, I prayed on it, and I decided not to heal my kid of the cancer that I could have healed them for, but it's okay because God told me not to, you think that that would be okay?
How would we know it's going to heal them or not?
Well, yeah, because the person prayed on it and they got whatever feeling back that says that they shouldn't try to heal their kid. So do you think, would that be okay to you?
It's not my decision to make. And if they had that kind of relationship and had that feeling, that sign, the way he spoke to them, and sometimes it even is logic to where you look at other circumstances and you're just like, oh, I don't know if that's a good fit for my child because it's all different in different situations with different children, their bodies, their functions, all of that stuff. If they really looked into it and prayed about it as well, because you could pray and also look at what doctors say, and you know, if it's not a good chance, and then it'll make your child suffer if you do it anyway. It's like, it's a hard decision, I'm sure. I've never been.
No, but let's say that it's like, it's none of those things. Let's say it's like a perfect cure, works easily, it's not too bad, but you just pray to God. Like your friend prays to God, and then God says, no, don't cure your kid of cancer, and then they don't cure their kid of cancer, then their kid dies of cancer. And like, would you, because to me, if one of my friends did that, I don't even know what I'd do. I think that this person should be in jail. I think that this person needs to be like locked away for a very long time. But in your worldview, why would this be a bad thing?
It would be kind of rough, and it would be hard for me to be like, dang, if it was all there, and, you know, it wouldn't make sense to me, but I also don't understand how God speaks to other people and why he does. Like, he says what he says, but it could always...
Well, that's just insane.
He's good because we don't know if, okay, maybe it cures that cancer, but what if there's a totally...
But wait. But what if it doesn't and the kid dies?
I'm sorry?
What if it doesn't and the kid dies?
What if they do it anyway and the kid dies anyway?
No, what if they don't go do, what if they don't do the cure and then the kid dies?
Then that child would be with God, and that's even
And you would
better.
think that that's good? That it was good for the parents to not get medical intervention for their kid?
If it would cure that child, but that's not something we know, and it would be hard to, you know, for me, honestly thinking to pass it up. But if there's a way that God spoke to them, it wouldn't be something that I could understand unless I'm in that situation. And it would suck that that would happen, but it's like, well, that child is with God now, and that would be something that I'd have to accept, which would, I'm sure, be super hard. But it would be hard.
Yeah, well, that's just insane, right? Like, that's just crazy. Like, there's a scenario, you're saying that there's like a scenario
wouldn't be 100% like, yeah, God spoke, and I'm like, well, how are you listening? Like, what is it that he said? How hard did you pray? Like, how clear was it? Because it would be hard for me to 100% grasp, and we don't know 100% how that kid's life would have turned out. Like, what if it would have just been something all around just worse than that, or how they become, or what other things happen? You know, I think that's where it would keep me kind of calm and be like, okay, well, there's a greater purpose for this. Like, that child is with God now. I don't know what would have happened if they would have lived, what would have happened to them or other people, or how it would have turned out. But I trust that this was for the good, and it sucks that this had to happen to this child, and that if the parents did make the wrong decision, that really does suck. But I know that God will turn it for the good, because maybe he wanted them to take it and they just weren't listening properly, and they chose to do that anyway. And now that's on them, so they will feel how bad that feels and the regret. And, you know, sometimes...
Yeah, well, this is just like, this is like wildly unrelated to what I was saying, but do you have anything else for me? Otherwise, I'm probably going to move on to the next guest.
No, that's fine.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
appreciate you coming on up here. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. If you're 18 or older, or if you're in that guest request box, make sure you're 18 or older. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm 18, 2006.
Yep. So, what's your strongest argument for the existence of God that does not involve personal experience?
Well, can I follow on from the last guest?
No.
Can I not follow on from what you were saying?
Nope. No, I want your best argument for why God is real.
Why won't you let me follow on from
Because
the last guest?
I like new conversations. I don't like to hang on to my old conversations.
Why not?
Why can't you just defend your view? Just give a reason God exists.
Because it's such a broad concept.
Yeah, then give your reason.
Just carry on from what was already being spoke about.
Well, that's fine. I'll just give a different argument. So, do you think that God is perfect?
In what way? Perfect compared to humans.
But like from God's perspective, is he perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is everything that God does morally perfect?
It depends on what you think is morally correct.
So morals are subjective?
What? What's subjective?
So morals are subjective to you?
Well, everyone has different perspectives of what is morally right or morally wrong.
Gotcha, but I'm asking, from your perspective, is everything that God does morally perfect?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, did God design our anatomy? Did he make it the way it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, did God design our anatomy in a way that's morally perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So there's no design, or there's no possible way that our anatomy could be any more moral, that there's like no possible anatomy that I could propose that we would agree would be a more moral anatomy. Is that correct?
Well, you're asking that. I could answer that question, but it could go against your opinion. So,
But I'm asking it like in your opinion, is there any way that our anatomy could be more morally
but in
perfect?
your opinion, it might be different. So,
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I'm just asking you because if you want to bite the insane bullets, then you can. But that's up to you. That's your choice, not mine. So, do you think would our anatomy have been morally better if it didn't have the ability to grape?
What?
If our anatomy didn't have the ability to grape, if we couldn't grape each other, like just anatomically, we were incapable of it. Like if we had like the fish anatomy where one party just like lays the eggs, the other fertilizes them, or if we had like consent pheromones where in order for the parts to function, both parties needed to consent and it didn't work otherwise. Would that have been a better anatomy or?
We have a level of intelligence that's nothing like any other animals. Where humans, we have a level of intelligence that's nothing like fish, and we have free will. Fish have nowhere near the level of intelligence that we have.
Yeah, but I'm just asking, like, they could have the same reproduction system as us. Why would that mean that we couldn't be intelligent?
Well, you was talking about grape. So, in order for someone to have that intent and to grape, they have to have a higher level of emotions and intelligence that only humans possess because God gave us that level of intelligence and emotions, right? And if you remove any certain aspect of it, then you completely remove free will itself. You can't pick and choose what you want. If you get
do you think someone born without a dick, like someone with aphalia, for example, they can't do a rape or they can't do a grape, but do they still have free will?
They might have the feeling, or they might have the intent to want to do it.
But could they do it?
It doesn't change.
Do they still have free will even if they don't have like a schlong?
You still might have the emotional intent to want to grape someone.
So even if you don't have the anatomy to do it, you can still have free will. So why wouldn't God just make it the case that our parts didn't work without consent?
I'm confused by what you're saying. Repeat.
Yeah, so God could have given us an anatomy which would have been way more morally perfect. He could have given us like an anatomy which makes grape just impossible anatomically.
Well, that's just bending things to how you want to.
Are you saying that you prefer an anatomy where grape happens as opposed to an anatomy with no grape?
You're
you want like the grape world rather than the no grape world?
Bro, what are you talking about? Now you're closing it down to just grape.
Because all I need to prove is that the way he designed our anatomy isn't perfect to prove that God isn't real.
No, it's definitely perfect. He created.
So you think that grape is perfect?
I'm still speaking. He created us, and he gave us free will. We have. Everyone has their own mind. We can choose what we want to do with what God gave us. Whatever we decide to do, it has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with what we chose to do as individuals.
Thank you so much, Schematic. So the way that this works is that there's two things required for a grape. There's the will, certainly, but there's also the anatomy. If you don't have the anatomy to do it, even if you have the will, then you can't do it. So you can still have freedom of the will. There's just some things that you can't do with your free will. For example, I can't freely will to like blow you up through the screen with my mind. I can't, no matter how much I focus or concentrate, I just don't have that anatomy. So similarly, God could have made it such that no matter how hard we will, we just can't grape each other.
No, because it's not like he created grape. That's what we decided to do.
But he created the anatomy. Did he know that we would use this anatomy for grape?
Well, in the process of creating free will, whatever we decide to do, yes, he knew that we was going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Could he have just made Could he have just made the anatomy different such that it didn't happen?
That's just a completely emotional argument.
What do you mean it's an emotion? It's not an emotional argument. Saying like grape is bad isn't an emotional statement. It's
That's not what I said. Now you twisted my words. I did not say.
Well, yeah, wait. So that's what you have to disagree with. You have to disagree that grape is bad, or you need to give a justification for why God would give us the ability to do some evils but not others.
However we choose, or whatever we choose to do, is completely dependent on us. You're putting it on this perspective that it's everything's God's fault. Everything's God's fault.
God gave us the anatomy.
We decide to do certain things.
Wait, so why would God give us the anatomy to do some evils but not others?
What others?
Yeah, so I can't blow you up with my mind.
Yeah, because it's not physically possible.
Because God didn't give us the anatomy, right? But could God have given us the anatomy to blow each other up with our minds?
You're saying something that can't possibly exist.
But no, wait. Why it couldn't? Does God have the power to make humans with the ability to blow each other up with their minds?
You're saying blow each other up. That's something that we created.
Yeah, but does God have the power to? Does God have the power to make us in that way?
Make us in what way?
Such that we have the power to blow each other up with our minds.
He could make us in the. Your questions are completely. I don't understand what you're saying. So you're saying if God can create us in a way that we can blow people up with our minds.
Could God have given us the anatomy that allows us to blow each other up with our minds?
He could have.
Yeah, perfect. So why didn't he?
It would completely change everything. You can't.
Yeah, wait. Why? So why didn't God give us the free will to do that?
Free will to do.
To blow each other up with our minds. Why didn't he give us that free will?
Well, that's just a stupid question. I don't know.
Yeah, so your answer is no answer and is instead to ridicule and mock the question. I'll ask it again. Why didn't God give us the free will to blow each other up with our minds? He gave us the ability to do some evils, but not others. Why?
You're asking a question I can't physically answer.
Gotcha. So you have no answer. So this is a piece of data that's radically unexpected under the Christian worldview. Now, despite the fact that we can't blow each other up with our minds, do we still have free will?
Free will has nothing to do with what we can and can't do. It's what we choose.
Oh wait, so God. Wait. Oh, perfect. So we could still have free will even if God made it impossible for grape to occur.
No,
because as you just said, it's not about what we have the ability or lack of ability to do. Perfect.
No, God created us, right? God created everything we have. God created us as humans, right? And we found a way to exploit the good things that he gave us. For example, reproduction, right? Having an emotional connection with a partner, right? We can choose to sin with anger, with with lust. That's something we can choose to do. That's what we chose to do. It's nothing to do with God.
Yeah, wait, so did God know that it was anatomically possible for us to grape even before the first grape occurred? When God was designing our anatomy, did he know that this anatomy made it anatomically possible to grape?
Yeah, possible.
Yeah, perfect. Wait, so why wouldn't God make it anatomically impossible to grape?
In the process
Why wouldn't God make it anatomically impossible for grape to occur?
In the process of sin entering the world, we chose to go and, well, certain people to grape people. That's what we chose to do.
Wait, so what question did I ask you, and how do you think that answers it?
What?
Or were you not listening? Do you remember the question that I just asked you?
You're talking about blowing people up with your minds.
That's like 10 questions ago. You're not tracking. Wait, do you remember the question I just asked you? Or were you not listening?
I was still speaking, so I couldn't really hear what you were saying.
But yeah, perfect. Wait. So you weren't listening. Perfect. I'll ask you the question again. Wait. Let's just put our listening ears on, because you're answering a question. You're answering a question from 10 questions ago, buddy. I'm not really interested in you talking to somebody from 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I'm interested in talking to you right now. So how about you just answer the question? So
can you ask the question?
Yeah, the question again is, if God knew that it was anatomically possible for grape to occur, why wouldn't God design us in a way where it was anatomically impossible for grape to occur?
How could he do that?
He could have just changed the design. He could have given us consent pheromones such that our parts only work if we consent to it.
So you're saying you wanted him to create us impossible to be able to do them actions?
What's the impossibility?
What's the impossibility?
Yeah, what's the impossibility?
Of what?
Of consent pheromones. Why are consent pheromones impossible?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Because you said that it's an impossibility. I'm asking you, why is it impossible?
Why is what impossible?
Why is it impossible for our organs to work based on consent pheromones?
Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying, bro. You're speaking gibberish.
So, okay. The anatomy I'm proposing is one where, in order for your parts to work, they're completely unusable unless you release these pheromones. Yeehaw! Thank you so much. It's Ray Ray. And if you release those pheromones, then it makes your partner's parts work. And if they release the pheromones, then it makes your parts work. The only way that these parts can work is if both parties are consenting to it. Right, why wouldn't God give us consent pheromones instead of the grape anatomy?
Science, right? So you believe in science, right? What do you believe in? So I can get this straight.
I believe in crystals. I believe in astrology.
You believe in astrology?
Yeah. What's your sign?
You believe in astrology? Okay.
I believe in astrology. Yeah. I believe in crystals.
Okay. You believe in astrology? Oh, okay. Yeah. So how do you think we're here? How do you think everything was created? So
I think we came from we're pivoting away from the problem of evil.
No, I'm trying to answer your question. I just want to understand.
Yeah, well, I think we came here from...
we are created?
I think we came here from evolution.
Okay, so go further back down the line.
So we are pivoting away.
No. I'm understanding how you what your overall belief is.
Yeah, I think that the evidence seems to indicate abiogenesis is how we first came.
So why is evolution? It's like me asking, why is evolution turned out to be how we are now? Why is everything how it is? Why is it?
Which thing are you curious about?
Everything. For example, grape. Why is evolution?
There's evolutionary reasons why grape would be a thing that's selected for. If you look at males of other species, they have dicks built like a fucking pirate ship, the way that they're boarding the people that they're reproducing with. Grape is super common among so many species because it helps spread their genetics.
Why is everything how it is now? Why is evolution brought us to where we are? I'm not talking about why, for example, why do we go from a monkey to an ape? Why do monkeys exist in the first place? How do you think this all got here?
What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand the question. We just evolved. The things that were good at surviving and reproducing were more likely to survive and reproduce.
The reason why
when they reproduce, they spread their genetics. What's confusing?
If you believe in evolution, the reason why everything's evoluted to how it is now is in the word evolution. Everything gets better and improves throughout time.
No, that's not what evolution means. Evolution is just the process of genetic diversity, of increase in genetic diversity. It's not about getting better or worse.
This is. It's such as adaptation as well as that.
Because single-celled organisms still exist. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, but so the overall question is, why is everything how it is now? That's the overall question.
Because these things have filled an evolutionary niche wherein they are likely to survive and reproduce.
You're not understanding my question.
It's just like changes in the frequency of alleles over time.
Let's go back to the
it's just like
question
genetic changes over time.
So let's go back to the question you first asked. You were basically asking me, why is everything how it is now? Why did God create us with the ability to be able to, for example, grape someone, right?
Yeah.
You can still have free will if you remove certain things from our existence, whatever, right? So your overall question is, why is everything how it is now? Why would God enable grape? Well, I can ask you the same question. Why is everything how it is now?
Because evolution isn't a moral actor. It doesn't have a mind. It didn't design anything. I make no claims about evolution being all good. In fact, it's quite bad.
It stays in the bounds of science. It stays in the bounds of what's physically possible.
Yeah, there's no morality in mind, but you're committed to the position that God does everything morally perfect.
Who created those bounds, though?
Nobody created those bounds. That's just logic. The things that are good at surviving and reproducing are going to be more likely to survive and reproduce.
Why are they good at surviving and reproducing? Why are they good?
That's just the way. So let's say
exactly. Yeah, you just said it yourself. That's the way that it is.
Well, that's just the way that these like traits work on. Like they just grant like whatever advantage or disadvantage. Neurospicy, thank you so much.
That's the way that it is. Why is that the way that it is though? You just resorted back to
that's just going to be like a brute fact, right? Like it's asking like, well, why did it rain? It just kind of did.
And putting it onto God and acting like God.
Yeah, because God made a decision. So it's God's fault because God made the decision.
The decision to what?
He made the decision to give us an anatomy that allows for grape when he could have given us an anatomy that restricts it to consent.
Okay, you in your opinion, you can put him at fault, right? But you cannot ask the question, why is that? Why is that the case, right? Because you can't answer that question yourself.
Well, I can certainly answer the question.
It is the way it is. You said it yourself. It is the way it is.
Yeah, well, it's just going to be definitional. That if something is good at surviving and reproducing, it's trivial, right? If something is good at surviving and reproducing, that's just a statistical claim.
Yeah, it's good at surviving and reproducing.
These traits are going to be the ones that help them survive and reproduce. What's confusing about this?
Why is it that they are good at surviving and reproducing?
Well, because of the specific advantages that the traits confer to them, it's going to be different for every trait. So, for example, there's like a third eye that's developing on some lizards, and the reason why that's good is because when a bird is like flying over them, they get sensory data which allows them to operate with the knowledge that there's a bird flying over them.
They're adapting to the environment.
Yeah, it's like good for them. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your point about lizards having third eyes? I don't see
just that it's the why the trait is good for survival and reproduction is going to be different from animal to animal.
Well, the broader question I was asking is for example, why do we even have eyes in the first place? Why is that?
Because it allows us to interact with our environment in a way that's beneficial to our survival.
Why do we even interact with our environment? You're asking questions that cannot be answered. But
I can answer all these questions because so one of the key processes of life is metabolism that we need to gather up. We need to gather up specific resources. In this case, it's going to be food that our eyes allow us to better see the food and then eat it.
Yeah, but I'm asking a broader question. Why do we have eyes? Why do we need to see food?
Because one of the key aspects of life is metabolism, and the reason why food is like the integral essential part of our metabolisms. Eyes and senses allow us to get food and reproduce by seeing other people who are the same as us.
Yeah, I'll say again. I'm asking a broader question. I'm not asking.
I think you're confused.
No, I'm not confused. I'm asking a broader question. I'm saying why does any of that exist in the first place?
Why does any of what exist in the first place? Wait, I've answered every question that you've asked me.
I'm still looking for an answer to that question.
Yeah, wait, which question have I not answered? Which question?
The broader question. You're answering as if I'm asking why do we need to eat food, and then you're saying to replenish our bodies. No, I'm saying why do we need to eat food at all? Why is that a thing? Why is food?
Well, that's just going to come down to the laws of physics that energy is conserved. So we need to get the energy that drives the life process via other sources.
could repeat that.
Yeah, that's just going to come down to the laws of physics.
Yeah, laws of physics. Why do the laws of physics exist?
I just think that they've always existed.
They've always existed. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, you said I think. So you don't know.
Well, yeah. So that's like easy. I can prove it too. It's like not hard for me at all. I'll give you 5 premises that prove that the universe has always existed, and thus the laws of physics have also always existed. So it's going to be that 1, a beginning is a change. 2, a beginning is a change of states. 2, a change of states is a change. 3, a change requires a before and after. 4, a before and after requires a past, present, and future. And then 5, a past, present, and future requires time. From that, we can deduce that in order to have a beginning, you must have time, which means time itself cannot have a beginning, which means time has always existed, which means the universe has always existed.
Yeah. I didn't deny that. I asked.
Yeah,
why.
perfect. So, well, if you don't deny, if you think that the universe is not always, or if that's the case, then you actually don't believe in God. Congratulations, because that means God didn't create the universe.
I'm saying that you can have that perspective. I'm asking why, though. I didn't ask you to explain your perspective. I asked you to explain why.
That's not my perspective. That's my argument.
No, I'm asking you to explain why, though. Why does any of that?
What? Why does anything exist?
What?
Why? Well, there's just always been natural things.
Natural. What is natural?
Yeah, the like things that aren't supernatural, like things within the laws of physics.
Yeah, within the laws
natural
of physics.
stuff has just always existed.
Okay, so I'll go back to asking, why do the laws of physics? Why is that the case? Why is that?
They've just always existed. They were present in all realities.
Yeah, but you're not answering the question.
They don't have a beginning. Right? Wait. They don't have a beginning. They've just always existed. Because I think it's like ironic that you're pretending like you don't understand, because you'd give the exact same answer if I asked you where God came from.
You asked the question.
And I agree. Let's not be a crying Corey. Okay, let's just calm down.
You asked me a question. Why are certain things in place, and you put that at fault of God, right?
Yeah, because God designed it.
Yeah, okay.
It's God's fault because He designed it.
Yeah, no, that's your outlook of it. You're saying that it's God's fault.
If an engineer designs a rifle that is like heat-seeking and targets children automatically, then that engineer is at fault for designing that rifle. Addy, thank you so much. Appreciate that. No?
No, it's the person who uses it.
Wait. So if you're an engineer and you specially design a rifle to have like a kid-seeking mode, and then you sell it on the market, you think that person, that the engineer, isn't at fault for any harm that's caused?
It depends on what intent they had when they made it. Did they have that intent that they wanted people to use it to kill people?
Well, they made the scope such that it would target children. You think that if an engineer makes a scope that specifically targets children,
give me a chance. Just because you have a fancy little mic doesn't mean that you can keep interrupting.
Wait, and I agree. We can like whine and complain. Let's not be a crying Corey. Let's just calm down. It's okay.
You're just not letting me speak, though.
That's okay. You can pray to all things are possible for God. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Okay, so let me just carry on what I was saying.
Yeah.
So God created things. He didn't have the intent for us to use them wrong. The same way that you just said, someone can create a gun, but what's their intent? What do they want people to use it for? That's the problem.
That's not the analogy. The analogy is you specifically design a scope for a gun. You design the scope itself, and in the scope, the design of the scope, you design a mode such that it automatically targets human children.
Okay, so that is the intent of that person, and they want whoever buys it to use it in a malicious way. That's why they
not necessarily. It's just a thing that is a function. The function is just that it points out children in the same way that our anatomy is one of the functions of our anatomy is that our anatomy can do great if you're motivated.
No, because they built that attachment, like you just said, to help someone commit something malicious.
Yeah. So if you design something in a way that allows people to use it for malicious things pretty easily, then you're at fault for the design.
No, everything is balanced, completely balanced.
Wait, so do you take issue or do you not take issue with somebody without necessarily having the intent for people to use this to go and shoot children, to design a scope that just like auto targets children?
Well, it depends. If the person who built this gun is selling it to someone completely knowing that this person is about to do something malicious, then the person.
Let's say they don't know any of
yes,
this. Let's just say that they design it and then they sell it and they don't ask any questions.
Well, God knows everything, so he knows.
So then God would be at even more fault. So if God gave us this anatomy knowing what we would do with it, then God's at fault. Perfect.
No, because we can choose to do what we want. Sin enters.
Wait. You're literally
the
backtracking on what you just said. You literally just said the opposite of this, the exact opposite. You said that if they sell it to a person knowing that this person is going to go and do the shooting, then they're at fault. Similarly, if God gives us the anatomy knowing that we're going to use the anatomy for grape, God's at fault.
No, we can choose if we want to or not.
Yeah, and they can choose whether or not they're going to use it to shoot children, but it doesn't change the fact that the design makes it very easy to shoot children when it easily could have not done that.
The possibility for reproduction just because there is
because you can have reproduction without grape.
Which will use it to grape people.
You can have reproduction without grape. In the same way that you can just remove the feature from the scope that allows you to target children, you can remove the ability for grape to occur
without some reproduction. So you talked about the laws of physics. So what is possible, right? You just said that you can have reproduction without grape, but that is outside of what is possible, right?
Do fish have grape?
The reason why everything exists is because it's in line.
Do fish have grape?
Everything that's already physically possible.
Do fish?
Yeah, like I already
have grape?
said.
Do fish have grape?
Fish are nowhere near as intelligent.
Is it? Wait. This doesn't matter. Do fish have grape?
You're going. I was speaking about something.
It's a yes or no question. Do fish have grape?
Diverted it.
Do fish have grape?
Can I carry on?
Answer the question. Do fish have grape? Do fish grape?
They can't.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Yeah, so there's anatomies that make grape impossible. So we can have reproduction without grape.
Can you stop diverting? I was asking a question.
Well, because you made a claim that if we have reproduction, then we always necessarily have grape.
No,
I'm just pointing out that there's a situation where we have reproduction with no grape.
But it's just showing how ignorant you are. You're not really giving me a chance.
And I agree that we can whine and complain, but let's just get back to debating.
I'm still trying to ask you a question.
Yeah, go for it. What's the question?
So you said that why doesn't God make reproduction possible without grape being possible? Why doesn't God make reproduction possible and make grape impossible at the same time, right? But that is completely outside of what is physically possible. You said at the start that the reason why everything is
but that's not true.
Because of the laws of physics.
Wait, that's not true though. Because fish don't have grape. But they have reproduction.
You hold a perspective, right, that everything is how it is because it's just how it is and it's the laws of physics. It always has been from the start, right? But then you're asking, let's make reproduction without the ability to grape someone. That is outside of what is physically possible.
Because we're talking about your view. God could have made it that way. Also, it's not outside of what's physically possible insofar as you acknowledge that fish don't do this. They have reproduction with no grape.
You can't ask the question as an atheist, as someone who believes...
It's an internal critique. I'm just presupposing your worldview and pointing out contradictions.
No, I'm pointing out the contradiction in your question.
What's the contradiction?
Because you asked me, you're saying that everything is how it is because that's how it's always been, right? And everything is how it is because of the laws of physics. You said it at the start.
Yeah, everything is how it is because of the laws of physics.
From the very start.
But it doesn't always I'm talking into this microphone. I haven't always been talking into this microphone.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say that. I didn't.
Well, you said that my view is that things have always been this way. I don't think that everything about this universe has always been this way.
Well, you said that nothing can go outside of what's been what was at the beginning. You said nothing can go outside of what's physically already possible, the laws of physics.
Yeah, that we have no evidence of that, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your point about you speaking into the microphone?
Yeah, because you made the claim that, in my view, that things have always been this way, but that's not true because I believe in change. I think that things change over time.
Change is outside of what is physically possible.
Change is not outside of what's physically possible.
Yeah, exactly. It can't.
I think you're a little bit confused. I'm just not really sure what your point is. What's the contradiction in my worldview?
Things can change, but they cannot just completely things cannot completely exist outside of what's already physically possible. Like what you was asking, why can't reproduction happen without the ability to grape? Well, that's just outside
do
of
fish
what
exist? Could we just have the
physically
fish anatomy? Is it physically possible for us to have the fish anatomy?
Well, we wouldn't. That's if we're little fish. I don't want to be a little fish.
Wait, because that we're like exactly the same except we have the fish anatomy.
Well, we're made in God's image, so
yeah. But is it? Oh, wait. So do we have the ability to blow up other people with our minds?
No, because God is.
Yeah. Does God have the ability to blow up people with his mind?
We was given free will. God cannot sin.
Does God have the ability to blow up people with his mind?
No, he cannot sin. That's God is good. He
wait. But what if could he blow up Satan with his mind? Because God kills people all the fucking time.
Right. Explain how God kills people.
Yeah, if you want to look at when he like literally kills people himself in Exodus, that would be a pretty good example. Cameron, thank you so much for the $1 in Venmo. He kills the firstborn sons of Egypt. So could he have blown up the firstborn sons of Egypt with his mind? Could he have done that?
Well, for example, if you talk about Jesus,
it's a yes or no question.
Jesus cannot physically sin. He wasn't.
It's a yes or no question.
What?
Could God have blown up the firstborn sons of Egypt with his mind?
Well, everything's possible.
Yeah, perfect. So God has the ability. God has the anatomy to blow up people with his minds, but we don't.
Yeah, but if he
in what way?
Inside of
in what way are we made in God's image?
As Jesus.
In what way are we made in God's image?
When Jesus came to earth, I'm just carrying on speaking. When Jesus came to earth, he doesn't sin because he wasn't born into sin like everyone else is, right? So if God comes to earth and lives by what he created, what is physically possible on earth, you know what I'm saying? He cannot sin like we can sin.
Yeah. So what was the question that I asked you just now? The one like just now, and how do you think that answers it? Or were you not listening?
I was still speaking, and then you
yeah, I wasn't, because if you've already like given me sufficient stuff that I don't need the answer anymore. So I'll ask you the question again because you weren't listening. You're just talking to talk. So, in what way are we made in God's image?
Spiritual, I guess. I don't.
What do you mean spiritual? Wait. So our anatomy, if we're made spiritually different but not physically different, or if we're made in his image spiritually but not physically, then our anatomy could be different, and he could have given us the fish anatomy. So why didn't he give us the fish anatomy?
We are made in God's image. I don't know in what way we are made in God's image. I just know we are made in God's image.
So when you appealed to, well, we're made in God's image, then that was like nonsense. So I'll just ask you again, why couldn't God have just given us the fish anatomy?
Well, because we aren't. That would just be completely limiting us. What's the point in that?
Oh yeah, because grape wouldn't happen anymore, and presumably God doesn't like grape, so that would be the point of that.
Well, if we were fish, we wouldn't be intelligent. We wouldn't have.
We wouldn't be fish. We would be humans with the fish anatomy.
There'd just be no reason.
Yeah, like the fish reproductive anatomy. We wouldn't be fish. We would just have the fish reproductive anatomy. So the way that it would work is that one party would deposit the eggs, and then the other party would come over and fertilize them.
Well, would you want the fish anatomy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that would make like grape impossible. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Right. Well, that again, you're saying that because of people who choose to grape people. There's nothing wrong with our reproductive system at all. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
But it could be better, is my point. That there's a more moral way to make it.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it could.
So you're saying that it would be that it's less moral, or that it's more moral to have grape in the world than it is to have no grape in the world. That the world with grape is more moral than the world without grape. Is that your perspective?
I don't think either. I don't think either is. I don't have an answer to that question. I don't think that's a yes or no.
You don't have an answer to that question. You take the agnostic position on whether grape is bad.
Grape, of course, is bad. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's
So
bad.
then the world without grape would be more moral than the world with grape. Perfect.
Yeah, but then that.
So then God fucked up by giving us the grape anatomy.
That eliminates our reproductive system.
No, it doesn't, because we reproduce like in the same way that fish do.
Yeah, we don't though. We don't.
But we could, because God could have made us this way. But he didn't, because he wanted grape.
No, God made the reproductive system. We chose out of our sin, out of our free will, to go against that. I keep repeating that, but
and you keep getting blown out on it because you still have free will, even if you don't have the ability to do a specific thing. I.e., you still have free will, even if you were born without a dick. You still have free will, even though you don't have the ability to blow people up with your minds. You even said bar for bar, word for word. This is a direct quote from you, that free will is not dependent on what you can or can't do. So God could have given us anatomy, which makes grape impossible. And we still would have had free will.
Well, you said it. You said it earlier in this discussion. How everything is within what's already physically possible, and everything is in the laws of physics, right? Everything is how it is.
Why is it not physically possible for us to have the fish anatomy?
What?
Why is it not physically possible for us to have the fish anatomy?
Because that's just not, we're not fish, bro.
Yeah, but he could have given us like the fish reproductive anatomy. Our reproductive system could have worked by like one party deposits the eggs and then the other party comes and fertilizes them. That's how our anatomy could have worked.
Yeah, it could have if we weren't. But the problem is we're all sinners. So
wait, but this is a pivot. Why is it not physically possible for our anatomy to be like that?
Why? What? Why
is it not physically possible for our anatomy to be like that?
It could be physically possible. I don't know if it could be or not.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so then you'll concede the point that you made earlier that it's not physically possible. Awesome. So if it's physically possible, then why does God want the grape world when he could have the no grape world?
I said it could be physically possible. I don't know about.
So it's possible that it's physically possible. So it's just physically possible.
No, I don't know if it is or not. That's all I said.
It's possible that it's physically possible. So it's physically possible.
No, I'm just saying that I'm naive towards if it is physically possible or not. I'm not saying if it is or not, or it could be possible. I just don't know about the fish's reproductive system, so I can't answer that question.
Hanji, thank you. Well, do you have anything else for me, or should I move on to the next guest?
Well, I wanted to speak about the previous debate that you had with someone else.
Yeah, what's up? So if God's all good, why would he create malaria?
So the debate you had with the last person is about how kids can get cancer, right? And if they die with that cancer, then they could go straight to heaven. So why would we try to cure kids of cancer if they can just go straight to heaven? So what's your view? Do you think we should have cancer? Do you think we should have the cure? What's your view?
Well, from my view, where God doesn't exist and heaven isn't real, we should try to cure every kid of cancer. But in your view, if kids go straight to heaven if they die of cancer, I'm just not sure what incentive you would ever have to cure a kid of cancer.
No, I think everyone should have that ability to have life. Every child should have the. Of course, we should try everything we can to cure cancer, right?
Evan, thank you so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. W Evan, W666, W Satan, Hail Satan. Appreciate it.
Of course, we should do everything we should do to be able to cure babies of cancer so they can have life, right?
Wait, but now they have eternal life.
Stop interrupting me, please. Can you stop interrupting me?
Yeah, wait, but now they have eternal life, so that's much better.
Can I carry on speaking, please?
Yeah, but now they have eternal life.
Right. So if we cure a baby of cancer, right, that is a good thing. If that person then grows up to sin and to reject God and go to hell, then you would say, oh, why did you cure that baby of cancer? Why didn't you just leave it to go straight to heaven? Well, that's not God's fault. That's that person's fault, right? We, for example, let's say we cured that baby of cancer. We blessed them with the cure, right? They then chose to reject God and go to hell. Yeah, that's completely their decision. We should try our best to cure everyone. We created cancer. Everything is how it is because of us, right?
Oh no, I don't agree with that.
Why do you expect God to pick up our mistakes? Why do you expect God to pick up all our pieces and save us from what we did? Like, for example, how we infected.
Wait. Let's chill out on the preaching. I'm going to give you an analogy. So let's say that we have two boxes in front of us. We have box A. Under box A, there is a 100% chance of infinite money. But under box B, there's a 50% chance of infinite money and a 50% chance of infinite debt. now? Are you going to pick box A or box B?
I'd rather just carry on with the conversation we was having. I'm not sure.
Yeah. This is it's directly related. So I'll ask you again. So we have two boxes. Box A, there's 100% chance of infinite money. Under box B, 50% chance of infinite money and 50% chance of infinite debt. Are you picking box A or box B?
We're having a broad discussion, and you're limiting it to two boxes with two different choices.
Yeah, just to prove a super basic point about decision theory. Which one are you picking?
You're limiting it so much, and you put it into such a simple.
Yeah. It just simplifies the decision making process. So you're picking box A or box B.
You can't simplify such a broad.
Wait. Just pick. Do you want box A? Do you want 100% chance of infinite money, or do you want a 50% chance of infinite money, and a 50% chance of infinite debt? You want box A or box B? Which one?
Do I have to pick a box? Is that?
Well, I mean, you can walk away if you want.
Yeah, I'll walk away now. Yeah, that's
gotcha. So you would give up infinite money? Do you think giving up infinite money is like a rational decision?
Well, I don't really care about money. It depends on what I feel. I don't really care about having infinite money, so that doesn't really appeal to me. So I'd rather just not. Right? What if I choose not to pick a box?
This is extraordinarily dishonest.
What if I just choose?
You're being incredibly bad faith right now. We can change it to like whatever you want. Like, what's something you do care about?
God.
Yeah, or let's say that there's a 50% chance under box A. There's a 100% chance that you get to spend forever with God, whereas under box B, there's a 50% chance that you get to spend forever with God. There's a 50% chance that you don't spend forever with God and instead you go straight to hell. Which box you picking?
Within that example, that's you can't put that into two boxes. You can't put that into
is it going to be box A or box B? Which one?
You can't put that into.
Is it going to be box A or box B?
For your sake, I'll say box A. But I'm saying now, before you carry on, before you go on with your preaching, I'm saying now that you cannot put such a broad thing into two boxes and ask me to pick a box.
Okay, so let's shift the metaphor as needed to accommodate the example. So. Box A obviously maps on to letting your kid die of cancer, 100% chance of them going to heaven. Whereas under box B, there's only a 50% chance of them going to heaven. Or I don't know, let's say it could be any chance, but it's not a 100% chance. There's a less than 100% chance of them going to heaven, and there is a non-zero chance of them going to hell under box B. So what about this do you take issue with?
I'd rather just pick box A. You're asking me to pick a box, I'm just going to pick a box.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so then by this logic, you should let the kid die of cancer.
Why?
Because in the same way that you'd pick box A, with the 100% chance of going to heaven, you'd want your kid to have a 100% chance of going to heaven, which they get if they die of cancer.
Yeah, but it's more fair to give them the opportunity to have life.
Yeah, but the fairness is just massively outweighed. It's irrelevant.
That depends on you. Do you make that decision? Do you want to save this baby of cancer? Do you want to just let it go straight to heaven? That just depends on your perspective. Do you want to give that baby a life so it can grow up? Or do you not want to risk the chance of them rejecting God and sinning, even though that is completely up to them if they want to decide to do that?
Yeah, so let's just do the analysis. Let's say that the being fair to them and respecting their choice is worth like 50 goodness bucks. That'll be our unit of goodness. We'll just call it 50 goodness bucks. So them going to heaven is going to be infinity goodness bucks. But in exchange for this infinity goodness bucks, it takes away 50 goodness bucks. So we have infinity minus 50. So we have infinity. So under this logic, it's still the exact same question. Do we want a 50% chance of 50 or of them going to heaven and a 50% chance of them going to hell, or do we want a 100% chance of them going to heaven? Which one do we want?
What is this? You speaking nonsense, bro. Can we just
I'm just trying to unitize this because so whatever good that exists in giving them the freedom to live their life is going to be massively outweighed by the guaranteed goodness of heaven. That there is no goodness on this planet that is more valuable than the guaranteed goodness of going to heaven.
Yeah, I could say heaven is way more valuable than life on earth. Yeah.
Perfect. So then the rational decision to make is to let your kid die of cancer.
Well, according to you, the rational decision, yeah, sure it is.
Yeah, well, why is that not the rational? It's 100% chance of them going to heaven. Why is that not the rational choice?
Okay, well, it's a rational choice. If you determine that you just want them to go straight to heaven, you don't want to give them life because you make an assumption that heaven is way more valuable, and you don't want to risk them going to hell based on the decisions they have on earth. Then don't save the baby of cancer. That's completely your decision.
But why is that not your decision? Because this isn't my worldview. This is your worldview. Obviously, I think it's like crazy immoral to not save a baby of cancer because there is nothing afterwards.
I'd rather
but if you
save
think
the
that a
baby
baby
of
goes
cancer,
straight to heaven, then you have no grounds to say that you shouldn't just let the baby die of cancer.
Heaven is way more valuable, right? So
Yeah.
I'd rather that baby just go straight to heaven, right? But no, I would cure that baby so then they can have a life on earth, right? And they can have their own decision. They can have their own decision. It's not up to me, it's up to them because it's their own mind, their own decision. They can grow up and choose to reject God or choose to go to heaven, right? I'm not going to make that decision. I'm going to try my best to cure that baby. I'm not going to stop it from having life on earth, am I?
So is this life on earth more good? Is this life on earth more good than heaven?
What if that baby would rather go to hell and rather sin and spend their life on earth sinning? That's up to them, right? It's not my decision to make. It's up to the baby.
So is letting them live their life going to be more good than heaven?
Letting them live their life, they can then choose if they want to go to heaven or not.
Yeah, but that's so what was the question and how do you think that answers it?
You said, right, go on, ask the question again.
Yeah, you weren't listening.
No, I answered your question, but you...
Wait, so if you answer the
you're
question, then repeat it back to me because you didn't answer the question.
No, you're waiting for me to answer how you want me to answer.
Wait, no, because it's not. I'm waiting for you to repeat the question back to me because you weren't listening.
No, I answered the question.
You didn't answer the question, so I'm verifying that you didn't hear it because you weren't listening.
No, I answered the question, but you wanted a different answer, so now you're...
So what was the question that you answered?
Well, I've lost the question now because
you weren't listening. Yeah, so
I definitely was listening because I answered in that moment. I don't remember it now, do I? So you can ask the question.
Yeah. So is the life we live here more good than heaven?
No, the life here is not good. According to me, you're saying that, well, send that baby straight to heaven because heaven's more valuable. But what according to that baby, if they grow up, what if they don't think that heaven's more valuable? What if they think that sinning on earth and going to hell's more valuable? Answer that question.
Is it objectively more valuable?
It depends on the person's view.
Gotcha. Wait, so you think morals are subjective? You think goodness is subjective? So you're a moral subjectivist. Perfect.
Don't label things on me. I asked you a question, and now
because you said it's just about you're like a matter of perspective. So you're saying that morals are subjective. That what's good is not objectively good, but it's subjectively good.
No, I'm not talking about good and bad. I'm talking about
but I'm asking you about good and bad. Is it more good for the baby to have life on earth or go straight to heaven? Which one's more good?
I think that I would prefer, in my opinion, that life in heaven is more valuable. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, perfect. So if it's more valuable, then the correct decision is to let your kid die of cancer.
Yeah, according to me, right, I'm going to try to cure that baby, right? You're saying that...
Wait. That's the opposite of what you just said.
I'm going to get to what you're about to say.
That's the opposite of what you just said.
No. I'm going to get to what you're about to say, but you keep interrupting me, right? Yes, I said that heaven is more valuable, right? So you're thinking, well, I should just send that baby straight to hell. No, I'm going to give that baby life, and it's up to them if they want to go to heaven or not. It's up to them. It's not up to me. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but in your opinion, is it more valuable for them to have eternal life or this finite life?
That is completely dependent on the person.
Okay, let's run it like this. So let's say that you know that there's a 100% chance.
No, you keep.
Let's say that there's a 100% chance that they become an atheist and that they go to heaven or that they go to straight to hell. So would it be more good to send them to heaven or to like cure them and then they go straight to hell?
I think that is better for people. I think heaven is more valuable, but it really depends on that person because they will have their own mind. If there's a baby, right, you can choose, like you said, you can choose if it goes to heaven, or you can choose. You can give it life, you can cure it. Let's say you had the cure in your hand, you could cure it and let it have life, right? What you should do is cure it because they can then decide if they want to go to heaven or not. Because it's not your decision at all, is it?
Oh, they certainly can't decide that insofar as God is hidden from us. That this isn't a decision that anybody can freely make insofar as they're not
Yes, it is.
properly informed. This is like if
They-
I
they
told
choose
you,
to sin.
if I told you, don't go into that house, the Easter Bunny is going to hack your fucking head off. And then you go into the house and the Easter Bunny hacks your head off. That's not, I wouldn't say that you chose to get your head hacked off.
Well, you're saying that as if there's 100% chance that there's a bunny in that house with an axe.
Well, yeah, and you're saying it like as if there's
I would make
100%
a
chance that
decision.
heaven is real. Heaven and hell are real.
Yeah, I'm off the assumption that heaven and hell is real.
Yeah, so
And
for
you're
this
off the assumption that it's
hypothetical,
not.
so wait, but would you have made the choice to get your head hacked off by the Easter Bunny?
If I knew that definitely 100% there was an Easter
No.
bunny
Wait, you
in
don't
the
know
house.
100%. People have just told you that in that, or like one person has told you that in that house, the Easter Bunny is like waiting with a chainsaw.
Right.
So
What,
would
in the house?
you?
Why would I want to go in the house?
Well,
What's
yeah.
in the
Wait.
house
So
that
you
would
believe
go-
in the Easter Bunny? I just want to be clear. You think the Easter Bunny is real?
No, I do not think the Easter bunny's real.
Then wait. Then why would you not want to go in the house if you don't think the Easter Bunny's real? Then you have nothing to fear.
Well, it depends on how I make up the decision. Well, is it in the house or not? I need to put pieces together and say, well, who's telling me this? Is it a valuable source? What's the evidence that there's a bunny in the house? And then I can then establish.
Nothing.
right,
There's
is it
no
worth
evidence
going
for
into
any
the
of it.
house?
It's just something people say.
Is it worth it going in there? You're putting it in. You keep asking these simple questions and analogies when we're having a broad discussion. So I'm answering the question, right?
I think you just don't like hypotheticals. Maybe you just don't like philosophy.
If I make up the assumption, right, that there's a bunny in that house, right, based on the evidence, based on who asked me, and I knew there was a bunny, then no, I wouldn't go in the house. But it depends on what's in that house. Is it more valuable? Is there something valuable in that house that is worth risking your life over?
I think you're a bit confused.
No, I'm not confused at all. You
What
keep
I'm
saying
asking
you're
you, the
confused.
point
You
that
keep
this is
saying
meant to
that.
demonstrate is that if you don't believe that the thing is real, but then the thing punishes you, that's actually not a fair choice because you didn't think the thing was real to begin with. In the
The reason
same
why I'm
way
saying
that
I'm
if you
confused-
don't think the Easter Bunny is real and somebody tells you, don't walk through that door, the Easter Bunny's gonna like saw you in half. And then you walk through the door and like, you don't believe in the Easter Bunny, but you walk through the door and the Easter Bunny saws you in half. I wouldn't say that you made the choice to get sawn in half because the Easter Bunny, you had no reason to think that the Easter Bunny is real. Similarly, if God sends you to hell, I don't think that that's a fair choice because you didn't know that God is real.
If I had no reason to think that Easter bunny was real, right? If I had zero reason to believe it was real, then right. Let's say I knew that the Easter bunny was in there, then it's my fault.
But let's say you don't know the Easter Bunny is in there and there's no reason to think other than the like people telling you.
Then what?
Did you make the choice to get sawn in half by the Easter Bunny?
If I didn't think the Easter bunny was in there,
yeah,
I had complete certainty that the Easter bunny was not in the house.
You have no reason to think that the Easter Bunny is real,
and I knew for sure that it weren't in the house.
You didn't know for sure. You're just like you have no reason to think that the Easter Bunny is real. Plus, it's an absurd claim.
Yeah, but why would I have no reason to think it's real if someone said it's? Surely that is, even though it's a small reason, surely that is some sort of reason to believe the Easter Bunny is real. If someone asks me.
Okay. Well, then I'm here telling you right now that the Easter Bunny is gonna kill you in 15 years. Do you believe me?
It depends. Are you a valuable source? Are you?
This is me telling you. Do you believe me when I tell you that the Easter Bunny is real and he's going to kill you in 15 years? Do you believe me when I say these words?
Considering you're not an Easter Bunny expert, then I'd say no.
How do you know I'm not an Easter Bunny expert? Yeah, wait. So you would assume that the Easter Bunny is not real?
Based on what I could possibly piece together, yeah.
Yeah, and based on what I can piece together, God isn't real. And based on what many atheists piece together, God isn't real, which means that it's not a fair choice. It's not fair to say that you had a choice when you actually didn't have a choice. How are you supposed to choose the thing that you don't know is real?
With this Easter Bunny, whatever you was talking about, with Easter Bunny asking you enough, was it relating to the topic of what I said about if a baby goes to heaven or not? Was it relatable at all?
Was it related to? So it's related to whether? Yeah, it is. In as much as
can you make that connection? Because I don't know why you.
Yeah. So it's because you say that the baby chooses to go to hell, And I'm saying that we don't choose to go to heaven. Like the atheist isn't making a choice in this. There's no, by not believing in God, I haven't made a choice.
They know sinning's bad.
In any part of this. Nobody's made a choice to do anything. I don't think God's real. I'm not choosing hell because I don't think hell's a real place.
They don't need to believe in God to know that sinning is wrong. Sinning is wrong. That's the end of the story. They don't need to believe in God. They know that they are doing something bad.
Wait, prove it.
Someone to tell them that is a sin.
Prove it.
Well, for example, if you kill somebody.
Yeah, but let's do like working on Sunday. Is that wrong? Is it wrong to work on Sunday?
Is it wrong to work on Sunday?
Yeah, because that's not obviously wrong to me. That's pretty chill.
Well, that in some eyes that is a sin according to religion. But I'm saying
that's not obviously wrong.
In terms of living in general, what is a sin and what isn't?
Yeah, but you said that all sins are just obviously wrong. That's not true. All sins are not obviously wrong.
But the whole point is that we're not talking about religion. We're just saying, right, what is wrong and what is right. And then you reverted back to saying something.
Because you talked about sin.
Religion.
Sin is a religious word. It's a God word.
Yeah, but sin is based off what is bad and what is good, right?
I don't. I use sin to relate to God.
No, sin. Because if you do something bad, that is considered a sin because it is bad. That's what sinning is.
Wait, so how are you defining sin?
Something that is bad. Something that something that is bad. There's good and bad, and sin is the bad.
Gotcha, that's fine. If that's what you mean when you say sin, but typically most people say sin in like a religious context. They don't just mean bad.
That's the whole point. I wasn't using a religious context. In general, I was saying what is good and bad.
So you were just saying that people think bad things are bad? Is that was your whole claim?
You asked me
that they don't need to believe in God because people still think bad things are bad? That's just a nothing sentence.
How do I know if something's a sin? So I said, well, it's bad. That's why I said that sin is bad. I wasn't talking anything. You said, how do you know it's a sin, right? So I wasn't going to use biblical sources to know if something is a sin. You asked me without using religious sources. How
you can use religious sources, you just need to prove them.
Yeah, well, if something, right, the way we know something is a sin is if it's bad and we know it's bad. For example, if we kill someone, that's unpleasurable. People feel pain and that's not a pleasurable feeling, is it? So we can make that obvious assumption that is bad, that killing someone is bad or hurting someone is bad because it gives someone a feeling that's unpleasurable, and that isn't good.
Yeah, wait. So this like utilitarian calculus is like really bad, insofar as you have to bite like crazy bullets.
I'm not biting any bullets. I'm just saying how I know if something is bad.
So you think? Are you saying that something's bad if it's like painful, and it's good if it's pleasurable? Like if it's bad if it has like the bad feeling, but good if it's pleasurable?
It depends what it is.
Oh,
it's bad if, for example, if you cause pain to someone, that is quite obviously bad because that person doesn't enjoy or that conflicts harm on somebody.
Wait, so if you do an action that doesn't inflict harm on anybody, it doesn't inflict pain specifically. It doesn't do like pain or suffering on anybody.
I was using the example of inflicting harm. That is one of the sins. There's a lot of different sins. There's a lot of different.
Yeah. Wait. So why does? I mean, I'm confused how this fits into the broader conversation.
You asked me a question, so I answered it.
I didn't ask you. Well, because you made the claim something about like sin. I don't even remember.
You asked me how do I know if something's a sin?
No, but like, what was you made a statement before that about how like people don't need to think that God is real because they know that sin is bad. But that's a nonsense statement if all you mean by sin is bad, because then you're just saying that like it doesn't matter if God is real because bad is bad. I just don't know what that means.
No, I'm saying that we don't need the Bible to know if something is good or bad. You're saying that sin only exists because of religion. No, sin doesn't exist because of religion.
So when your moral intuitions differ from the Bible, what do you do?
Good and bad already exist.
But when your moral intuitions differ from the Bible, what do you do?
What? Give an example.
Yeah, Leviticus 25:44 through 46, where God says, like, go forth and do slavery.
that God does not condemn. God condemns slavery.
No, he doesn't. He says that you should do. He said that you can do slavery.
No, any mention of slavery is him outlining what the laws that already exist. He doesn't support it at all. He's just outlining what already exists. For example, if God says a slave owner has rights over his slave, right? He's not supporting that, right? So he's not saying that's right. He's just outlining the laws that already exist.
Okay, yeah, let's check to see if that's true.
Okay.
Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. 5, okay. Yeah.
Can you tell me the verse?
Yeah, Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. This is this is Moses coming back from his meeting with God. So the verse is, as for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from their families who are with you, who have been born in your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness. So God is saying you can own slaves. If you're off the app, I can't hear you, by the way. You need to come back to the TikTok app. Okay, well. I'm probably ending stream for the day if this guest is gone. But I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much. I'm starting a little reading group. So tomorrow, or today, I'm probably going to drop a paper that we're going to read for next Saturday. Only join if you're 18 or older, but there's a link to the Discord in my bio. I would love to see you there. I notify you every time that I'm live. It's discord.gg/allegedlyian, but we talk about politics, religion, and philosophy. There's pretty frequent VCs. I always love spending time in there. It's pretty cool to come on over and just check it all out. But I love